Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fence. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your host, Fence. You can call me Chris, Fence, whatever floats your boat there. Thank you so much for being here today. This is the home of the LLGs where you can share your story and be part of ours. It's been a little while since I've been here. I am quite happy to be back. A lot has happened since the last time that we've been live. Life just keeps moving along, doesn't it? I feel like, we were all talking about how crazy 2020 was, but man, 2021, this is where wild stuff is happening too, right? Some of it better than last year, though, if I may say. That, at least, because I think that this year is going in a much better direction. Omega Gale, what's going on? Jen, what's going on? Welcome back. Good to see you guys. Digi, what's up, buddy? Welcome back home. Good to see you guys. Hey, we got a new question of the day, because some things just never change around here, do they? Check it out. It's up in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. This one is a viewer question of the day, and it comes from our good friend Silaeth, also known as Andy. And he asks everybody, if you feel existentialism, how do you rationalize your existence to yourself? Feel free to share your thoughts today. A little bit of a deep one. Oh, Digi, let's go, man. Yes, thank you so much for that sub love. Appreciate it, buddy. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm so happy to be back. We're gonna let a few more people roll in here before I start sharing all my stories and stuff like that. Because man, do I have some. I have a few. There's been some wild stuff that's happened recently. Angry Ranger, dude, thank you so much. I appreciate that love and support, man. You guys killing it today. That's excellent. Yeah. So, I'm not gonna go too deep into it at this specific moment. Like I said, I'm gonna wait a little bit, but over the last, 2 months, I guess it's been since I've been here. We've moved. We have, I got COVID. So that was a whole lot of fun. And then I got a new job, which that actually is a whole lot of fun. It's very cool. Those are like the highlights, pretty exciting stuff. Yeah, background's different. This is a new space. Wow, this microphone's really sensitive, isn't it? Yeah. If I talk over here like this, it's like I'm super far away. I need to come back to you. There we go. Nice and intimate. All right, yeah, this is a new place. Not just new background, but completely new apartment. We've been spending the last week getting it all set up. I think it came out good. I'm happy about it. I was actually not expecting this lighting to work too well behind me, but it ended up looking awesome. Demon Works, thanks for that host. I appreciate it. How are you doing today, Ash? Reggie, CJ, Agent Pie, what's going on? Welcome back home. It's good to see you guys. Yeah, Digi, thank you. I'm glad I'm okay too. I still have like a lingering cough. I'm a little bit tired. As far as physically speaking, a little bit tired. Like the fatigue and exhaustion is definitely a very real part of the virus. And man, it was just like kicking my butt for the first week. And it got a little bit better in the second week. But this is the first time in a long time that I've been sick for as long as I was with this thing. Let's see, today's Saturday. So this would have been, today would have been day 15, I think, of being sick. I'm mostly over it. The worst of it was like the first 10 days. The last 4 to 5 days have actually been much more manageable. But yeah, man, I ended up pulling through okay. I will say this though, I'm super glad I've been vaccinated. And even though I've been vaccinated and wear my mask and, social distance and stuff like that, I still managed to pick this thing up. Oh, we got a hype train. What's happening here? Choo choo. Thanks for those bits. Appreciate it, Jen. But yeah, it's very real, man. It's if you guys have been, not close to it and haven't had any like personal exposure or interaction with anybody who has caught COVID, first of all, I'm very glad. Second of all, I understand that there might be some confusion and questions that you have about it, and wondering like how valid this stuff really is. I think there's enough information out there now where most of us should be able to see that, yeah, this is a problem. This is definitely affecting a lot of people's lives. There's a reason why everybody has been taking it pretty seriously and trying to, mitigate the spread. It was one of those things that it was scary for me when I had it. Well, when I was in the middle of it, like the worst of it. I had a fever of like 101 degrees. I was breaking out in cold sweats for days. It was exhausting for me to just like get up and go to the bathroom. I felt terrible, crazy sinus pressure, congestion, where like I felt like if I turned my head too fast, like my brain was like a rock that was bouncing off the inside of my skull. It was the best way I could describe that. It was just, it created these weird headaches that I've never had before. And it was just, man, it was not fun. I was out of breath all the time from doing anything. So it was a tough time. What? With the gift subs, Jin! Bringing the train today, Togo, CJ, Evanescence. Oh, and Demon Works and Agent Pies. Enjoy your gifted subs. Jin, thank you. Whoa. What a rock star. Hell yeah. All right, Barrett's gonna be yelling at us for a minute. Hold on, I'm gonna mute him. We'll still get the visual, but wow, dude, awesome. Hype Train level 3. It's killer. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Reggie, I'm sorry to hear that you're always at risk being in healthcare, man, but thank you so much for the work that you do out there. I understand. I've been working out in the community and being there like on the front lines with people in the middle of this pandemic too. So I completely understand the risk that you're undertaking being out there doing your job. Tell me, what does it look like a little bit for you in terms of like your preparation and how you protect yourself and how you protect the people that you serve while you're out there? Ash, right on. Slow day at work. Hey, pretty cool that you're actually able to come hang out here with us and listen in today then. Excellent. Omega Gale answered the question of the day earlier. I'm going to double back to that real quick. They say, so if I understand the question of the day, then I would honestly say I just go with life? As everyone has a purpose and is special in their own way, as I see my purpose to try and help people all I can. If I understand existentialism's meaning. So my interpretation of this question that Silaeth is asking us is that, existentialism is like, if you're worried about what your purpose is, like if you kind of get in your head about who am I, what is the meaning of life, what role do I play in this world, and what does it all mean? And that's kind of what existentialism is to me. So I think your answer to it is very fitting. You feel like everyone has a purpose and is special in their own way. So like there's no like singular meaning to like one rationalizing their existence to themselves. And the way that you rationalize your existence is that you see yourself as a person who is trying to help people in all the ways that you can. And that gives you meaning, right? Does that make sense? Am I hearing what you're saying correctly? I like it. I like it a lot. I feel very similarly in that regard. A lot of where I find my meaning is in the way that I can impact my community. I want to do something that I feel like is meaningful, and whenever I question like who I am or what my purpose is or what I'm doing, the times in my life where I felt most stressed out by that feeling have been times where I feel like I've lost my direction in those endeavors, and I'm trying to find like a new meaning. And that's okay too, because you know we evolve, we all change and grow throughout our lives. So it's okay if what used to be your calling or what you used to find meaning and purpose in suddenly shifts. You know, it's part of life. It's absolutely okay, but it does come with some stress. You know, it's kind of freaky. It's a very wild feeling. And I think that whenever we're in the middle of the throes of existentialism, we feel very small and insignificant. Which whenever we're dealing with like mental health issues, I think that it sort of amplifies them. So if we've got depression going on, if we're anxious about like, you know, how effective we are in whatever roles we've served in the past or possibly in the future, like those feelings like get amplified, and you know, it can be harder to deal with them. That's where self-care becomes very important. Again, it always comes back to self-care, right? We keep up with our self-care and like our mental health hygiene, and I think that we can navigate all these types of things that life throws at us a lot more effectively. But yeah, thank you for your response, Omega. I appreciate you. Togo, what's going on, dude? Welcome back home. It's good to see ya. Man, the gang's all here. I love it. And Parrot was so excited. Yeah, thanks for the host, Gale. I appreciate that, buddy. Now, Backwards Mirrors subbed earlier. I had it muted. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for that sub, love, man. Hell yeah. Busy day for Digi. Been watching the stream on the side and working from home. And technically I shouldn't be working, but I'm trying to finish a project that was due yesterday. Oh, what's the project, Digi? You are a diligent person. Man, good for you. It's inspiring. Look at this, man. Look at this hype train. This is wild. You guys are awesome. Give yourselves a big pat on the back for being so awesome. Thank you for the support. Reggie said, I have to be very stern about mask regulations and give out a metric butt ton of sanitizer. There's only so much I can do, to be honest. Yeah, well, good for you for putting in the effort and making it easy for people that you're around to, you know, take that responsibility. We all have to take that responsibility for ourselves. You know, we can't do it all alone. I think that, you know, mitigating this thing, slowing the spread, bringing the numbers down and protecting our community members, it's a collective effort. It's not something any one single person can do. And if we're not working together, then you know, the people who are trying to help improve this thing, they have to work a lot harder. But I still think that there's like a ceiling to that. And this is just my personal thoughts on it, but I think there's a ceiling to that, to how hard an individual can work. Because you're gonna get to a point where like you can affect what you can affect, right? You know, you hand the sanitizer out to people, you keep masks on you so that people forget you can hand them out to them. You remind people about, you know, protecting themselves and protecting others, and you try to social distance and, you know, lead by a good example. And that's it. That's all you can do, you know? Because you can't control anybody else. You can just give them opportunities to do something good for themselves, right? Like anything, like when we provide support for people in general, whether it's like talking like this, you know, like sometimes you guys bring your problems to me and I talk to you through them, but like I know that I can't fix them for you. At the end of the day, like you have to do that legwork yourself, which is, for me, as a person who wants to see you guys be happy and succeed and all these things, can be frustrating because I want to just be able to be like, all right, it's better. There you go, you know? But, and I know that's a frustration that a lot of you guys out there share as well. But, you know, we just do what we can. Do the best that you can. And that's the best that we can do. My face when I saw Vince go live. Yeah, so good to have you back, Gale. Man, what is this? I'm seeing some things on my chat that I've never seen before. There's hype train emotes. I'm out of the loop. My goodness. Reggie says he's bad at being stern. It's hard. It's hard. I don't like being stern either. I always feel like people are gonna think I'm a jerk Um, and then they're not gonna like me. Oh no, whatever. It's okay. Like I was talking with a friend the other day, and they were asking me about, you know, like how did they word it? They said something like, do you ever disassociate? And we got into this conversation about how we view ourselves versus how other people view us, and how true the way that we view ourselves is, um, and how other people's perceptions of us affect that. And part of the discussion, we came around to this point where I asked the question. I was like, do you think that people can like you and at the same time not like things about you? And my answer to that question is totally, absolutely. Even some of your best friends, they don't like everything about you, and that's fine, right? Like the thing with friends is we accept each other as we are. And that's, what makes those relationships great. We don't have to be the same. We don't have to be like eye to eye all the time with things. We can like people and dislike qualities about them. And so when it comes to being stern, like Reggie's talking about, I think that, it's okay to draw your boundaries sometimes. It's okay to be stern and to be firm with people when it comes to standing up for what you think is right, or, just reinforcing those boundaries that you've set. We worry that people are going to stop liking us because of that. Some people might. Fine. That's up to them. And that's okay. Because you know what? Everyone has the right to be firm about things that they feel like they should be firm with. Learning to be flexible is also an important part of life, I think, too. But there are some things where, it's fine. It's fine to be stern with. What Reggie's talking about here, being firm with your health, the boundaries you draw for health and protecting yourself and others. I think that's a perfectly fine thing to be stern with. And that's okay. You'd be surprised at how many people are like, that person's a jerk because of the thing that they said to me. And they go home and they think about it and they're like, you know what? Maybe I'm the jerk for reacting this way about it. And they turn it around, So just follow your hearts. Do what you think is right in the moment and do the best that you can. And then you move forward. Try not to worry about it so much. GGDC says, talking about the project he's working on at work, not a fun project. Oh no. He is checking outstanding payments from the last person. They no longer work for the company, and that was in my position. So the last person that was in DigiDC's position, that person did a bad job leaving notes and proof on why he made the payments or voided it. So I have to do research on it. Some are incomplete payments. The life of an accountant. Oh no, man. That sounds like a pain in the butt. Not gonna lie. Definitely not a fun project. But still cool that you're actually taking care of it. I hope that your company recognizes the value that you provide them, because it sounds like you're going above and beyond if you're working later hours to try and complete this thing. I'm glad you're here. You get yourself another little element of something to focus on other than just this very tedious sounding task. That sucks, man. Sucks that the last person did not do good housekeeping to keep that stuff in order. It's like coders, whenever they go to try and work on lines of code that they didn't write, and the person who wrote the code didn't organize it very well, and you're trying to decipher it. God, man, it's gonna be a mess. Reggie has a bad habit of being a sass master. And people get snippy with me about it as if it's my fault, which is a bad thing. Yeah, sometimes we have to tone back our sass. I'm a sassy guy myself, so I understand where you're coming from here. Sometimes we gotta dial it down. I don't care if people think I'm a jerk, Reggie continues. It's just I'm not much of a loud, aggressive person. I'm soft-spoken and nice. Yeah, and when you're like that, it feels like being stern kind of contradicts that, right? You can do both, though. You can do both. It's tricky, but you can definitely do both. You can be like, hey, you're doing this thing, I don't think it's right, and I've asked you not to do it, or I've asked you to do this and you're not doing it. You know, and then you can draw a line and be like, this is what's going to happen if you know, you don't do this. Or here's what I'm going to do if you don't do this. It's not in like a threatening way, but just like a, hey, and I've really tried to, you know, be cool about this, but this is bugging me. Or I don't think this is okay. Here's why. And then the ball's in their court from there. What happens after that, you know, you've kind of given them that opportunity to understand where you're coming from. So that what happens afterwards isn't something where it's like you're being a jerk, because you've provided that opportunity to understand and avoid the conflict. You know, and you don't have to be like stern or aggressive to say things like that. Like, you can be nice about it. And that's fine. But just, you know, it takes a little practice. Because the thing that you're saying, it feels like you want to put like an abrasive connotation to it, because you know that you're kind of like going against this other person's grain, so to speak. But you can just be yourself, express what you're feeling and what your needs are, and then leave it at that, you know? Easier said than done, I know. Who has done this, by the way? Who's good at doing this here in the chat? And do you have any advice for those such as Reggie who feel like, you know, we want to be nice and we have a hard time drawing our boundaries or putting our foot down on things in an effective way without sort of like going the complete opposite direction with it and just kind of like foregoing all of our niceties and just being like, look, you know, because sometimes we let it build up and it makes us kind of feel like we're going to blow up on somebody, right? What are some tips you guys have for us? Gail says, I completely agree with that. I am afraid of being stern or saying no because I want to help everyone and just keeping everything neutral of good. I know it's impossible to do that all the time, but I just can't help myself. And so again, this is where like self-care comes into play. Sometimes it's good to say no. Sometimes it's good to say no, and it's not a bad thing. Like, I think people respect you more for when you say yes, when you sometimes still say no. And you're taking care of yourself. If you feel like you're not able to provide something or do something that you want for somebody whenever they've asked it of you, I think that if there's a potential for you to say no and you say yes, it adds more value to that for the other person, for one thing. But two, it always leaves that option open for you because you can do your self-assessment, right? How is this going to affect me? What do I need to do right now? How equipped am I to assist with this at this time? And, you know, be honest with yourself. If you do that and you're like, yeah, I can totally help this person, cool. The thing about, you know, doing things for others is that no matter what you're doing for someone else, you are sacrificing your time. You are sacrificing your potential to do something specifically for yourself. And with that time, it's a resource that you don't get back. And the reason I say that is because that is why it's so valuable when you spend time with other people, when you do something that's thoughtful for somebody else. Because you're spending that resource in a way that you find is valuable and meaningful. When you treat it like a commodity, when you treat it like something that it's going to be freely given all the time and you have an unlimited amount of it and whatever, other people interpret that as you know, it's like they can always get that from you no matter what. And some people have talked to me, especially like in my job. I've worked with several peers who have talked to me about how they feel that I'm too nice, and so people walk all over me. I'm too nice, and so people take advantage of me. And then what happens is we become bitter and resentful of spending our time on other people, spending our energy on other people, which sucks because it totally defeats the purpose of being nice to people, because now it comes with this like undertone of negativity. And then we end up struggling with that, you know? Are we actually as good as we want to be, or as we're putting ourselves out there to be? Am I being false because I have these negative feelings, even though I'm trying to do the right thing? The way to avoid that and protect ourselves from that is to say no sometimes. You know, during that self-check, if you're like, no, I need to spend this time on me right now. I'm sorry, I can't do this. You know, but I still care about what you're going through. I still care about what's going on. Maybe I'll try to do something later. You know, or maybe there's someone else. That's another key part of it. Sometimes there's someone else. A lot of times there's someone else. We're not the only person in the universe that this person can turn to. You know, most of the time. There's exceptions, right? But most of the time, there's a lot of different people in people's lives. And so it's okay to take time for ourselves. It's important that we do so that we can continue being the best people that we're trying to be and the best versions of ourselves that we want to see. So I think it's important to do that. Oh my God, Reggie, I just saw your transparency joke. What's up, Lucy? Welcome back. Oh, commenting on the code thing that I was talking about earlier. Lucy said, code without comments is the worst to read. You're hearing this, coders? Coders of the world? Add your comments, okay? Your code's gonna be there for other people to manipulate down the road, all right? It's not all about you. Think of the people who are gonna come up later. I used to think of this all the time whenever I was an electrician, because a form of this would come up. So, you know, we'd go in and do demolition work for like an old building that had been there for a while. We're gonna like rip out all the old wiring, reinstall new cable, put in new breakers, put in new electrical panels or new devices or whatever. If we're doing that, usually not a big deal because we're installing all new stuff. Too often though, we were demoing out like a section of that building and then tying new stuff into existing panels and existing circuits. And so if we opened up that electrical box and we pulled that panel out and started looking at all the wires and terminations, it's etiquette, like it's good etiquette for a wireman to label all of their wires. And most people, whenever I was working, who installed wiring like 50 years ago, did not do this. And it was, oh my God, it was such a pain in the butt to figure out, what does this wire go to? Because it could be connected to something on the whole far end of the building, running through conduits that you're not gonna be able to look at. They're in the walls, you know? So you've got you and this other guy who's like going and testing different circuits to see if like they're the same with your voltmeter, so that you can kind of like make an educated guess as to what this wire is actually going to, and is this the one we need to disconnect and replace, or something like that. So it just takes you like an extra minute to attach a label to the wire, and then now any other person who's gonna come in and look at that panel knows exactly what they're working with. Saves so much time. Stuff like that, you know? Obviously, this kind of housekeeping is prevalent in a ton of different industries, whether, you know, it's accounting, it's electrical work, or it's coding. You know, it just pays to think outside of ourselves whenever we're doing what we're doing, right? Be considerate. People will appreciate it, even if they're not gonna do it in front of you, right? Omega said, I really need to be stern about watching my health. Speaking of which, speaking of work, actually, Vince, I'm supposed to be working with my dad at some point. Current job, I'm looking at a minimum of $100, which I'm going to be saving for an Oculus Quest 2. That'll bring you to the halfway point, right? That thing's like $200, isn't it? Or is it $250? I can't remember. That thing's awesome, though. That's a good goal to have. What's the job that you're doing with your dad? Stream's helping me get through it. Yes, that's what I like to hear, Digi. Excellent, man. You're killing it. You're doing an excellent job. Demonworks said, sorry I'm listening, just helping customers, but I thought I've been missing your streams a lot. Also, your setup is much better than what I remembered, as I've been away from Twitch for years now. Hey, thanks for the compliment. I appreciate you, Ash. And don't even worry about it. Don't apologize for doing your job right. I'm glad you're doing your job right. It's neat. You being here is just icing on the cake. You're doing good work over there. Keep it up. Omega tried coding class. Said it didn't go well for me. Well, coding isn't my thing, but I do know that there are still many other opportunities. Yeah, and even if it's not like your strong point, that doesn't mean you can't do it, Gail. You know, you totally could. Even if it's just for something to like help you out in your personal endeavors. Knowing a little bit of coding doesn't hurt anybody in 2021. I think it benefits all of us. And I'm totally behind on that aspect, come to think of it. CJ said, I'd really love to keep watching, but life's pulling me away right now. Enjoy your stream. Thanks, man. Rock on, CJ. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for coming on in and hanging out with us for a little bit. It's good to see you. Agent Pi said, wire A goes to wire B, and wire C goes to wire T, and wire 17 goes to... I hate it. I hated it. That was like one of the most frustrating parts of doing that kind of work, man. That I worked on like big industrial and commercial jobs. So, you know, we'd open up a panel, and this is like everything that's coming out of that panel could power things on that floor that sprawled, you know, several thousand square feet, or on like higher floors, you know. It was hard sometimes to really figure out what went to what if things weren't labeled properly, especially when I was doing low voltage work, because what you get is you go into a server room, and server rooms could be just these huge sprawling rooms with different aisles that contained racks of servers, each having like, oh, I'm trying to remember the number, like I want to say like 18 different ports, where data cable, like your Ethernet cables, would run out the back of them and up onto these racks that would go across the rest of the building to distribute the network to each of the devices that are there. And man, there was no quicker way to piss somebody off than by not labeling your wires correctly in that situation. And I ran into it a lot. I was usually the pissed off guy. Panda, what's going on? Welcome back. It's good to see you. I hate having to help at Love's Travel Stop, says Demon Works. As I used to work on semis, we had to do electrical work, and me fixing computers, I'm like, easy job. It wasn't, it wasn't. I learned new things I never knew of. Well, see, then there's a benefit. That's a positive. You went into this thing thinking it was gonna be easy, realized that it wasn't. This is actually challenging, and you gain new skills. It's awesome. Life's challenges are the best points for us to learn something new and grow, expand our skill set. Doesn't mean it's always fun though, right? All right, Togo, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for coming in today. We'll see you later. All right, everybody. So we're gonna play some video games here. Loving all the energy today. You guys are so cool. Thank you so much for being here and just making me feel good. I love seeing you guys and getting to catch up. The discussion doesn't stop, of course, just because we're playing some games. So anytime you need to pull up the question of the day, type in !QOD in the chat. It'll pull it back up. Today's question is courtesy of Siliath, and he's asking all of us, if you feel existentialism, how do you rationalize existence to yourself? Feel free to share your thoughts today. It's a good question. It's a good question. Definitely one of our deeper viewer questions of the day. Also, if you guys ever want to ask a question of the day and hope that it gets featured on here, the way you do that's in Discord. Jump into the Discord server. We've got a channel called Viewer Questions of the Day, and you can post your question in there. You know, I check them out regularly, so. All right, here we go. We're gonna do this thing. You know, we're still playing Nier Replicant. Because by golly, I am determined to complete this game here on stream. I love this game. I haven't been playing it off stream at all, which has actually been really easy for me to do because I've played the original version of this game, not in its entirety, but a good portion of it already. So I think that took some of the edge off of me wanting to wait. But, you know, that doesn't mean I still don't want to keep going with it. Always excited to keep doing it here. All right, here we go. So, I gotta be honest with you guys, I can't exactly remember where we left off on this. So, we're gonna jump back in head first here and re-experience things together. So I do have a slightly different audio setup than I did before. So let me know if anything seems like it's like out of whack. It's not balanced right or something. And I can fix that up for us. Hoshi, what's going on? Welcome back to the fence. How have you been doing? $300? That's how much the Oculus Rift is? Or not the Oculus Rift, though. Oculus Quest. Quest 2. $300. And you're remodeling houses. Whoa, cool. So what role are you taking in remodeling the house? Like, what's the last thing you've done, or have you even started it yet? You got sick, Hoshi? No. I'm so sorry to hear that. What'd you get sick with? Speaking of, coughs indiscriminately. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm not 100%, but I'm so much better than I was last week. Oh my gosh. Thank you for asking. Man, I hope you get better soon. Hold on, let's look at our quests. That'll probably be a good place to start. Contract for a contractor. Oh, okay. Oh, you have to get all those titanium alloys, man. That's a pain in the butt. And the creaky water wheel. Oh, so we go to the Strange Things store. All right, I can do that. Did we pick up all the quests here already? I'm just gonna do a quick scout, run around and see real quick. Before I forget, have you ever thought of doing marbles on stream? Probably not the time to mention, but I don't want to forget it. Marbles on stream. Oh, that's that game where like everyone's all the viewers get to have their own marble, right? And it kind of like you watch them go and see like who ends up getting to the finish line first. I have thought about that actually. I always forget about that game though. It would be fun to do. You start on Monday. Got notified of another job. Oh, here's another quest. Here we go. I think if I understand my dad right, for $82 as well. Look at that. So then you will be over halfway to your goal at that point.
Everything all right, ma'am?
No. My son has come down with a strange illness.
Is it the vid?
He's been ill for a week, and no matter what I do, it just seems to get worse.
That's not good. Any idea what's causing it?
No. He went out to play with the other children like he usually does. And when he came home, he was sick.
That's what happens with kids. Spreading the germs all over the place. It's inevitable. You can't get around it. You forgot this game existed? How did you forget this? This is one of the best games. It's one of the best games. Never forget. Always remember. Correct. I think it would be a good idea to also chat about issues and such while having viewer interaction still. That's a great idea, actually, Omega Gale. I'm gonna consider that. Thanks for the tip.
Something must have happened to him out there. I'll see what I can figure out.
You know, I've never actually played that marble game before. It is fun though. I do like watching it.
You will?
I've had a good time whenever I've been in people's chats before. I guess technically that means that I have played it, because my marble would have been there, huh?
Of course.
Didn't think about that. Not sure what it is, says Hoshi. I got tested yesterday for COVID, so I'm waiting on the results. Pretty sure I either got sick from maybe the weather changing. Yeah, that's true. This could be the time for that. It's happening to a lot of us. Or from my classmate in school who has laryngitis. Oh man. I'm sorry to hear about your classmate having laryngitis. That sucks. Glad you're feeling better though. Hopefully COVID wasn't getting you too bad. I know it's worse for some than it is for others. I think that all things considered, it could have been much worse for me. And the worst parts of it, I think, were in the first like 3 or 4 days. Doesn't mean the rest of it was awesome. It definitely sucked. And I took like a whole week off of work. Been on sick leave this last week, which I kind of wish it was flip-flopped. I had the ability to take 80 hours, that's 2 weeks, off of work, but they didn't tell me that until I was already sick for a week, and I ended up working the entire first week while I had COVID, and that was, I don't know how I did that. Man, that sucked, but I got through it. It was exhausting though. Yeah, Jen managed to avoid getting COVID during this whole time, which is amazing. She's been taking good care of me. I was so worried about her picking it up from me.
Sounds like a plan to me.
But she got her test the other day and tested negative, so yes, it's good stuff. Just realized how long I've been away from Twitch, says Demon Works. About 4 years? Whoa, dude. Yeah. Yeah, you know, this is the time to get back into it, it seems, Demon Works. Although I'm biased because I'm actually just starting to get more social again myself. So let's do it together, Ash. We can reconnect with our friends. Yeah, when I figure out how to change the name as well, as all my games have a different gamer tag. Are you interested in like having a universal gamer tag again?
I suppose all children are precious to their own parents.
Yeah.
But if the cause of the illness is a mystery, then we have little way to search for a cure.
Well, you're smart. Come up with something.
Perhaps we should speak with the local children.
Why would kids know when the adults don't?
Even the oldest adult in the world is but a child to my eyes.
Hey, what's going on, Mashi? Welcome back, man. So we gotta talk to some kids about some sickness and figure out where this thing's coming from and what it is. All right, what's this chick want from us?
Hey, you don't happen to know where my boyfriend is, do you?
Lucy, what's going on with your GPU?
Sorry, lady. No idea.
Right, of course you don't. I'm so silly sometimes. See, my boyfriend just up and vanished 5 years ago.
I'm so silly
I keep waiting for him, but
sometimes.
I have no idea where he went or if he's even...
I forget sometimes that everybody doesn't know who my boyfriend is. Because I know him. So that means everybody should know him.
Hey, wait. You're that kid who does whatever people ask him to do, right?
Oh,
well,
no.
Then, go find my boyfriend.
See, this is what I was talking about, fam. This is what happens when you never say no, okay? You become the kid who does whatever people ask them to do. You don't want that. It's not sustainable. It might be for a little bit, but eventually we crash and burn. There's only so much we can do. All right, villager. Seems a little entitled here.
Well,
The
people
despicable
usually
man.
ask nicely. And I
Yeah.
have no idea what your boyfriend looks like, much less where to find him.
Well, he always wears this flashy gold necklace, so maybe you can start there.
Oh, he's got bling.
And so we find
got drip.
ourselves off on a hunt for a man with a golden necklace. Not exactly the strongest of possible leads.
What are you talking about? You ever seen anybody with a gold necklace in this town yet? I haven't. Should make it easy. You finished Far Cry 6 yesterday, Money. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I saw that it came out. I like the guy who's playing the villain. That made me a little bit interested in that game. Never been really into Far Cry games though, to be quite honest. I don't know if I'll end up getting that one. I'm glad to hear that was good though. The RAM on it's really taking a dump, and I basically had to put it on life support. You had to hook the IV into it, Lucy. GPU's catching on fire. Gotta keep that thing cool. Man, that sucks. Time to get a new one.
Knew it. This is what
At the
I was
worst time to
talking-
try to get a new one.
There's a scary curse on all the forests in the world. And the bigger the forest, the scarier the curse.
What? The bigger the forest, the scarier the curse? Wait, is that insinuating that the kid believes that's where this illness is coming from?
Water and food have been getting
Or are they just
more
saying
and more
random stuff?
expensive.
Some kids like to play in the northern forest.
Oh.
We're not supposed to know, but everybody does. Man, I wish I could go there.
Okay, so they're out in the northern forest. Kids are getting sick. Let's see. There's more kids over here, if I remember right, by this water wheel. Whoop. Oh, that's a different guy. Wait, he's looking... This guy's looking pretty sad. What's going on? There's no kids here, but hey, what's the deal, Redback Man?
How did it come to this? My life is over, I tell you. Over!
Over! No. Wait, DemonWorks said, didn't have my gaming tower up to code, so the games I play right now have a different gamer tag. Oh, okay. You changed your Steam one. So yes, the universal gamer tag, as it's been with me for years now. Yeah, it makes life simpler, in my opinion. I used to have different ones for like all my different accounts and games and stuff like that, and it got really confusing to me after a while. I don't like this girl. Oh hey, since you're everyone's errand boy, go find my boyfriend. She's the worst. She's the worst, but we're still gonna help her. Why are we doing this? We better get that dude's drip after we save him, or find him, or whatever. You're like, go find your own dang boyfriend, jeez. He probably did run away from her, honestly. Nope, not today, villager number 856. Oh, Mashi. Agent, you never got around to finishing Far Cry 5?
I
You
sense
never even
another
played Far Cry
inane
5.
and time-consuming request coming
Uh-oh.
on. Best to just walk away while you still can, lad.
Listen to Vice.
Easy, Vice. Hey there. What's going on?
Here we go.
Whoa, friend. Whoa is what's going on. So I ended up having to work on me and my honey bun's wedding anniversary, right?
Whoa, friend. Whoa is what's going on. I like this guy.
And since we couldn't celebrate the occasion together, things got a little heated. I want to make it right and get back in her good books, but I'm a little in over my head. Think you could help a guy out?
Yeah, why not? Let's help this guy.
It'll take a hell of a present to make up for a missed wedding anniversary.
Yeah, that's a tough one, dude.
I thought the same thing, so I asked my sweet dumpling if there's anything she wants. And she told me I want that thing you promised me back when we were newlyweds.
That thing?
Oh no, I see where this is going.
Exactly! The problem is I can't for the life of me remember what it was. Can you believe I forgot? I am just the worst. So, you have any idea what my wife might want? Come on, you gotta help me out here.
How would I know? What comes to mind when imagining the ferryman's wife? How they argue. Because this is, if I'm not mistaken, is this the same guy from Seafront who has, like, I don't want to call her, like, insufferable, because they were both insufferable, if I'm remembering the correct people. But where they were just arguing all the time, because that's what's coming to my mind right now. Can I just be honest? Here we go.
All that comes to mind is how they argue all the time.
Yeah.
I had the same thought, though it hardly seems a credible lead for
Of course.
a gift of atonement.
Of course not. All right. Forgot to mention, says Gale, our water supply where I'm at, we cannot drink at this current time due to the water main breach or something. Oh no, that sucks. So you're on a water boil watch right now. Man, that's a bummer. That happened here where we live last year, I think. And we were on a water boil for like 2 weeks, I want to say. Man, I hope they fix it soon so you don't have to worry about that. It's kind of crazy. When stuff like that happens, it's like, oh yeah, we rely on our water filtration system for like the being able to drink our tap water basically and not get sick from it. And even though we complain about like the taste of it, it works really well. And that is the only thing that is in between us having like modern water supply and needing to go back to boiling pots of water so that we can make it potable and drink it without getting sick. It's kind of amazing. I mean, her red bag probably stands out a lot, but I want to hear.
Well, her
what
hair
this says
was
too.
sort of dark, right?
Sort of dark.
Was it now? Regardless, I do not believe this to be a productive train of thought, lad.
Oh, that's funny. Wow, Lucy, you had to go to that length? You made a literal BIOS program for it and then made the memory frequency lower and lowered the voltage and had to lower the core frequency. Oh my gosh. And then flashed it onto the chip. Dude, that is... I mean, it's amazing that you're able to do that. I would never be able to do that. That's super cool. Jin, can I ping you in our house server real quick? I mean... Why am I answering this? I'm not Jin. Alright, her red
Well,
bag.
You guys carry matching red bags, right?
Red? Aha! That's it! We got married after learning we had a shared love of all things crimson, so she'll definitely want something red.
Wait, that was the thing that tied them together? You love crimson, and I love crimson. Let's be crimson together. Sounds like a good marriage agreement. I mean,
I remain skeptical this will lead us to something his wife truly desires.
We're so
Here we go.
close, I can taste it. Let's see, red. Yeah, I got nothing here. What do you think I should give her?
come on. A rose, man. Although it's a wedding anniversary gift, you probably better do a little bit better than that. I love this guy's voice actor, by the way. I know you don't know my wife, but can you tell me what she likes? You know her well, right? Wait. What comes to mind when imagining what a woman would want? So, I mean, I thought flowers. There was that one girl from that dude that we helped earlier who really wanted expensive jewels. She seemed like a gold digger, though. Not a quality woman. As far as like what that person was specifically dealing with. She seemed to be using him. But that doesn't mean you can't still be a good person and like expensive jewels, right? Is his wife the woman that would want that? Maybe. We're gonna go through all of them though. Let's see, something sweet.
Oh, girls like sweet things, right?
Ben's also likes sweet things. It's not limited to females, okay?
What, like apples? Yeah, she loves apples, but problem is she already eats them all the time.
Get her a bigger apple. No? All right, jewels.
How about a fancy jewel?
Yeah, I guess she might have mentioned wanting something like that a long time ago.
Before I arrived here, I was playing some Genshin again, said Remix. You have to fight that thunder manifestation. Oh, snaps. You know, I thought about reinstalling Genshin the other day, actually. I almost did it. I didn't do it, but I almost did it. Crimson is a beautiful color. You're right, Gale. You're right. I don't know that would be the thing that makes me go, I should marry this person, though, you know? Like... Does it really mean that much? All right, flowers.
Flowers? Everyone loves a good flower.
Yeah, I don't feel like I've seen my wife giving two hoots about flowers, like, ever.
Oh.
Ugh, this is getting us nowhere.
Can you believe she actually married this lout?
You know what? Fine. I'll just get her apples, a red jewel, and some red flowers, and call it a day.
You mean you'll ask me to go get all of those things?
Should be easy enough for me to get the apples and flowers squared away in Seafront. But I'll probably need your help finding a red jewel, so what do you say? Help out a pal for old time's sake?
How could I say no when you look at us with those puppy dog eyes? Sure, we'll track you down a jewel.
He's a good man.
Oh, thank you. Once you found it, just bring it right to my home in Seafront, okay?
You got it. All right.
A red jewel, is it? The Strange Things store might deal in such articles.
Let's go check it out.
That's right. This is the part of the game where the Strange Things store is the answer to all the quests. Fantastic. Yeah, I don't think you can get these things wrong, Money. I think you have to go through all of them. That's just part of it. All right, Ash, good to see you today. You have a good rest of your shift, okay? I look forward to catching up with you again soon. Keep your head up and your heart strong out there. Masha, you're gonna give up on Destiny? I thought that once, and then I went right back to it. And then I left it again for a little while. We have an on-again, off-again relationship, Destiny and I.
The forest totally cursed him. That's why he's sick. Everyone told him not to play in there, but he did anyway.
It appears something happened
Sounds
to the
spooky.
child when he entered the northern woods. I believe that area is more commonly known as the Forest of Myth.
The Forest of Myth. One of my favorite places.
You think there's actually a forest curse?
Yeah, I'm Tall Jen. Lilith, what's going on? Welcome back home. It's good to see you today. I would say long time no see. Just long time no see on the fence side of things, I guess. We seem to talk fairly regularly in Discord these days, which is cool. Been enjoying catching up with y'all there.
I will withhold judgment on
How are you
such
doing
things.
today?
For now, we should visit the place and see for ourselves.
All right, to the Forest of Myth then.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna go hang out at the forest. I mean, I guess we could do that first. It's either that or go to the Strange Things store. I think I want to go to the forest. Oh, this dude's got something for us too? Man, everybody's got something for us. There's a lot of quests.
Help! Oh gods, please help me!
What's wrong?
What's the matter, man?
There's this huge shade near the bridge in the northern plains. The damn thing nearly killed my wife and daughter.
Oh, God. So we gotta go take it out. Man. I'm here in listening only capacity. Lost! Thanks for joining us with your ears. Your audible peepos. It's good to see you, bud. How are you doing?
I'm on it. It appears and disappears like the wind. You could go days in the northern plains without seeing it. And then, all of a sudden...
Man, it's so annoying. All right, we're gonna find it. We'll find it, and we'll destroy it. Chilling, excited to be able to fix a friendship that was lost. Really? Really? You wanna tell me a little bit more about that?
I need 1 memory alloy and 10 titanium.
Oh, you're the dude. What is this pig farmer gonna do with memory alloys and titanium alloys? Why do you want this stuff, sir? Are you gonna reinforce your pigs? Are you gonna make super mecha pigs? Pigs that could punch holes in mountains? He's gonna make pig miners. That's what his plan is. You are despicable, sir. I will help you for some reason. 'Cause that sounds kinda awesome.
Guy with the gold necklace, eh? Yeah, I heard some folks saw him heading for the Forest of Myth.
Forest of Myth, too. Okay, cool.
Forest of Myth, huh? Maybe we should pay a visit.
Great, so we've got a couple reasons to go this way. I got my water right here, man. Thanks for the reminder. Actually, it's getting a little dark. Hold on, give me a second. That doing us good? Beautiful. We have light. Once more. Okay. Lost, you're working on cabinets. Man. You've been working so hard on that house. When are you gonna show us some more pictures, dude? Okay. Toot-toot-roo. My friend Jordan and I had a huge falling out because of Dylan. Oh, the guy that was harassing you, I remember. And when all that stuff went down with Dylan 2 weeks ago, I messaged him and apologized for not believing in him, or not believing him. And now, he's here close to where I live for a month or two, so we're gonna try and hang out and talk. Okay, so it sounds like because, you know, Dylan was a mutual friend of yours and Dylan's, or yours and Jordan's, the stuff that went down between you and Dylan caused discord between you and Jordan. Man, I can see how that would get messy quick. You know, whenever I was in high school, I had friend groups where we were all very tight-knit with one another, and so if something happened with one person, or between two people, then it sort of like affected the rest of the group too. And depending on like who you were closer with, or who you aligned with whenever these conflicts arose, it could cause conflict between you and several other people. So, I mean, it sucks when that happens, but I've definitely been a part of it too. That's awesome. That's great that I mean, that's not awesome, but the outcome of this, you and Jordan working on mending your friendship and talking to each other through this thing, that's awesome. So I'm glad to hear that.
I cannot fathom that village setting up a mercantile. They must have truly opened their minds.
Oh, Vice is talking about the Airy.
I have my doubts.
Oh, I know where we're at now.
Aren't you glad to be going back home, Kaine?
Home? That place is a shithole.
Don't be so nervous, Kaine. We'll protect you.
They didn't treat Kaine well at all.
Worry about protecting yourself.
Ow. Oh, there it is. Okay. I've been playing Scarlet Nexus, so like I'm getting some of the controls mixed up here. Ah. That's right, we have magic. Okay. I remember how to play this game. Alright, sweet. And then we could change weapons here. There we go. Love this. Love the Beast Curse. Soon, says Lost. As I get the kitchen done and cleaned up, I have some pictures before as well. Oh, sweet. We get before and afters. I'm excited. I don't know that I want to go to the Airy right now. We might skip out on that. See, is this big shade gonna pop up for us? No? No big shade? Ow! You son of a... Ow! Ow! God! Oh, no. Oh. I'm trying to remember how to do, like, the rapid stab. I mean, that was cool, too, but not what I was trying to do. That's it. That's it. You just have to land the attack when you hold triangle. Ow, jeez, dude. These guys are kind of beefy. Why? Oh! Right in the water. Oh, okay. Do it to it, Omega. Go play some ESO.
Working order.
Yeah, Vice. I'm good.
I've been curious
Your
about
health
that
is
game,
diminished.
actually.
Do be more careful next time.
I guess it's because they're all armored that they're just taking so much more damage. Ah. Did I finish Scarlet Nexus or nah? Between when you asked me that question last night and today? No. No, there's been no time for that. I'm like about to start sequence 12. Which, if you guys haven't checked it out, Scarlet Nexus is a pretty good game. Definitely worth a play. Lil, spamming doggo pics. Must be in Discord, huh? Dude, look at this pig. He's just squaring up with this. Oh, hold on. No, I was here for festivities. I wanted to watch this movie. Mr. Pig is no longer interested in doing battle. All right, fine. Oh God, why? What did I do? I'm sorry. Also, why is the music so somber right now? What's going on? Let me heal a little bit. Ow. Oh, I totally. Oh God. Yeah. Listen. You better be nice to me, Mr. Pig. I will beat you up. Take that. Stop it. Quit it. Ow, Jesus. You jerk. Oh, I'm just gonna do fancy things in front of your face, but never actually hit you. Whack. Wow. Okay, well, magic is doing a lot to this guy. There we go. Remember when we tried to fight this pig at like level 6? And it did not go well for us? It took so long. Where is this? Here we go. Yeah, you know, I love the spear. I love the greatsword. But it is hard to beat the versatility of the Beastbane. Just saying. It does good, you know? Cool. Alright. Let's get to this forest already. No festivities, only death. The pig wants revenge for being turned into bacon. How did it become bacon? And then come back to seek vengeance on us? It should be in my tummy. Okay? I want to know what kind of magic pig did this. All right, Forrest, why are you making kids sick? What's your problem? What's your problem? All right. Let's see what the dealio is. If you haven't already, LLGs, check out our question of the day. Today's QOD is featured or rather, it's a viewer question of the day that we're featuring, and it comes from Silaeth. And he's asking all of us, if you feel existentialism, how do you rationalize your existence to yourself? Kind of a deep one. Feel free to share your thoughts in the chat today. We could talk about that. Hey, see any sick kids?
The strange presence has left the divine tree.
That's not why I'm here.
But it made me think. I mean, why are we worshiping a tree? That's odd, right?
That's odd.
Sometimes I wonder why we do any of the things we do.
You should question yourself sometimes.
Oh, that
it's
reminds
important.
me. I have a rather interesting story for you. Would you care to hear it?
Do we listen to the mayor's story? It's probably nothing. Therefore, oh, damn it. I should have known. It's a bad story. It'll get revenge in your tummy by giving you a tummy ache. Agent Pie, you're correct. That is how Mr. Pig gets back at those who eat him. Imagine being conscious after being turned into bacon to seek vengeance. That would make me want to seek vengeance. Jeez. Redacted. Mashi gets it.
Wait, what?
That whole story was redacted.
Man with a gold necklace?
A man with a gold necklace? You know him?
You bet I do. Goddamn bastard ran off with my wife.
Wait, what?
Wait a minute. I thought he had a girlfriend.
Yeah. We're looking for her boyfriend, right?
If you find him, bring him back here so I can murder the bastard.
Sure, I'll consider that. Listen, do you know where he went?
Last I heard, someone saw him in Seafront. Goddamn bastard. I can't even bear to look at my wife anymore.
Guess it's back to Seafront for us.
Oh. Damn, that sucks, dude. This guy ran off with this other guy's wife? With Glasses Lad's wife? Oh. Alright.
Everything seems normal here.
We appear to have hit a dead end. Say, what is that on the ground?
The dude with the drip is a bad dude.
Just some funny-looking berries.
Ah, poisonous ones, I'd wager.
Ah, we get to the root of the issue.
Well, I'm sure not gonna eat him and find out.
Let's go feed him to Kaine. She's got a gut strong enough where I bet, like, not even vengeful bacon could do a number on her. Hey, you hungry?
You guys solved the mystery yet?
No, we got nothing.
Too bad. Hey, what's with those berries?
What,
They're
these?
delicious.
We picked them up over by that huge tree. I thought maybe...
Gimme. I'm starving.
Are you mad? Those berries are clearly poisonous. Even one such as you can't hope to...
Damn, these are delicious. Give me more.
Well, in that case, I suppose I should try one.
Dead.
Oh, I think Vice was right about those berries. Feels like somebody stabbed me in the gut.
Hey, what's wrong? Oh no, don't tell me you ate one of those berries. For the love of trees, those things are deadly. Quick, take this antidote before you perish.
Before you perish? What? Dude lost his wife to Drip Man and still cares about other people. I like this dude.
Thought I was a goner there.
Are you an idiot? Didn't you see the lumps? The unusual colors? Only a child would attempt to eat something like that.
A child? Oh, crap. I bet that kid ate one of these berries.
Yes, quite possibly. And if the poison is this painful for you, I can only imagine what it would do to a small child.
Hey, Kaine, did you take the antidote?
Don't need it. God, those berries were amazing.
The truly amazing thing is that your stomach is fouler than your taste in clothing.
God.
If you had genitals, I would so chop them off right now.
Oh, she's so funny. How does she survive the berries, man? How are they just tasty to her?
Ugh, this poison sucks. Still can't feel my arms and legs.
I feel great.
Man, you must have a cast iron stomach, Kaine.
The hussy's internal organs are as filthy as her mouth.
Why do you have to be such a shithead all the time, Book?
Book. Oh man. Kaine's taste in clothing is interesting, to say the least. It works for her. That's all that matters. Alright, so very interesting to me that we still have this change in music for the field here. I don't even remember if there's like a reason for that. Oh, Gebul. Magic power plus 25%. That's powerful. Hey, hold on. I might wanna do that. What do we got here? What weapon is good for magic? So, okay. If its magic power is already 40%, we can make it plus 65%. I like them numbers. Pahil, Mahira. So let's change Mahira, because I think that's the one for item drop rate, right? Yeah. Can we do Gabul on this one? No. Must be on this category. Yeah, that's ridiculous. But wait, it doesn't do anything? Oh, was it supposed to be like on something else specific? Like a specific kind of weapon? I bet it's a spell. I bet we put it on magic, and I'm a fool. All right. Let me fix that real quick. There we go. All right, and then we're gonna go back to our spells, and we'll do it with Dark Lance. Yeah, that's it. Gabul. Sweet. I haven't attached hardly anything to most of these. Let's fix that. You know, that's probably why so many of my spells have not been that powerful. Oops. All right, and execution. There it is. Now, what? That also goes for Gabul? I mean, I guess that makes sense. That still does damage. What about Dark Wall? Because it doesn't, right? Lugza. And... yeah, none of these are gonna matter. All right. Cool. And we're set. Perfect. Is Kaine immortal or something? And what's wrong with Kaine's sense of style? I love it. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Something interesting going on with her body's immune response, though. She has, like, incredible amounts of probiotics. Just naturally. Just breaks down whatever she eats. Lizard, come back. Where'd he go? Oh, hey. Nom. Oh, there it is.
I've never seen a shade this large around here.
I have 5 hammers, and I can't find a single one. Oh no! Come over, Lost. I'll let you borrow one of mine.
Be careful. This is a formidable foe.
Have you tried the Final Fantasy Origins demo? I tried the first one that came out. It was pretty okay. I like the idea of what it's got going on, but I didn't like the execution. I haven't tried the new demo though, so I don't know what's going on with that one. I am interested in that game though. I'll probably still check it out. Oh my god, look how much stronger we are now with our spells. That's fantastic. Ow! Holy hell. Better heal. Hey man, I haven't played this game in a while. You be nice to me. Better get rid of the mage people first. Nope. Ow. Oh my god, that was close. All right. Cut it out, man. Oh. All right, we're gonna need some better tactics for this here. Oh, that wasn't nearly as good as I wanted it to be. Maybe, oh. Oh, God, I knew I was gonna take that hit. Oh god, wasn't expecting a second swing. What? How did that miss? Oh. Oh. I don't remember if there's anything like really great for the super armored boys. Maybe I just am gonna straight up Dark Blast my way to victory. While I poke his butt. Oh, don't hit me. Alright, this is probably the best sword to have if I'm planning on using magic anyway because of the damage increase, so. God, he's so tanky. Stop being so tanky! No. No. I need to know what probiotics Kaine's taking. She's just all about the probiotic yogurt, man. She listened to her doctor. Doctor was like, Kaine, you eat some weird stuff. Just add yogurt to that list and... Oh! And you'll be fine. It's ridiculous. The guy reminds you of the giant robots. He is a lot like them, actually, like the golden ones in Automata. Ow. I had no business fighting those things whenever I did while I was playing that game, by the way. But I remember I did it anyway. Oh. I wish I was better at dodging. Actually, wait a minute. We could ow? No. We could always ow. Oh, and he breaks guards. I should have known that. Why'd I try to guard? Ridiculous. You stole Emil's mask? And then you quit? You definitely have to go back to play then. Especially if that's where you stopped. You're in the midst of something amazing. Oh, stop hitting me. All right, now we're down to the health salves. We'll start using big recovery items here. Actually, wait a minute. We have items for this. You can do like, we can heal, we can strength drop. Oh my god, this is what I should have been doing this whole time. The damage is so much better. Oh, look at that, dude. Could have saved myself some headache here. I always forget about consumables. It's stuff like this that they're for. My gosh. Don't even worry about it, Lil. Be as quiet or as vocal as you want. What are you working on art-wise? It's pretty cool.
Stupid trash getting in our way.
It's hard to imagine a shade being here.
Crazy big trash can.
It's waiting for us. They can't be that intelligent.
Oh, really now? Can you truly say so with all confidence? The tactics of the Shades grow more intricate with each passing year. It would not surprise me to see them setting elaborate traps for us before long.
We'd better wipe them out before they get too smart.
In any case, we won't be able to live in peace until we take out the Shadow Lord.
Shades think? Since when? Mashi! didn't that get spoiled for you? And weren't you like upset about it at the time? You just did the same thing to someone else. Oh, it was money that did. Oh, okay. I mean, that still sucks, but I had misunderstood. Okay, it's less funny now. Sora and Smash. Oh my god. Oh my god. Listen, Sora and Smash Brothers is the greatest thing to happen to Smash Brothers since Sephiroth got added to Smash Brothers. And I think that's amazing. I had like given up on the idea that Sora was going to be in Smash. And there's my other friend was like, I kind of expected it. And I was like, how? And he was just like, well, they kept talking about it. Like, people kept talking about it. And I was like, okay. So he took that, like all the memes and stuff like that have been going around for the last long while, like a couple years now, I guess. He took that and was like, that must mean that they're going to put him in Smash. I took that and then them adding anybody else but Sora up till now to mean Sora's never going to be in Smash. Even though I wanted him to be in Super Smash Brothers. So bad. So yeah, when I woke up to that news the other day, I was like, oh, I freaked out. It was so awesome. I know, he's lighter than Isabelle. Isn't that crazy? I wouldn't have expected that. Remember, is there any reason for us to go back into the house right now? Oh. Yes. We have gold. There's gold. You're making an inspiring quote on a wooden canvas. Oh, cool, Lil. Yeah, definitely share that whenever you're finished with it in Discord. So cool.
I feel confident the child still lives.
Of course she does.
So, this voice actor that plays Nier, I always forget his name. He voices Noctis in Final Fantasy 15 as well. But he does a great job in this role. He's so expressive. All right, I'm just coming over here to see if there's a quest from Mr. Guardman. Nope, there's not. Okay. And we're gonna go down and see if we can find the sick kid. Zach Aguilar? Is that his name? Time between the announcement and release, 13 days. Yeah, Jenny had brought that up in Discord a couple days ago. Of course it's planned, right? 13 popping up everywhere in Kingdom Hearts related stuff.
We have to fish. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness for the sea. Oh, okay, so young Nier's voice actor is different than adult Nier's voice actor. How is Mortal Kombat X? I saw that it was free this month on PS Plus. It's also part of the PS Plus collection, but I hadn't sat down to play it yet. Hey, so these kids are eating bad berries.
Ma'am, I think your child ate a poison berry. If you give him this antidote, he should recover.
Oh, thank you. I'll have him take it right away.
Glad to hear it.
And perhaps remind him not to eat foodstuffs he finds on the ground.
There we go. 10,000 gold. Cool. Ray Chase. There you go. That's the one. Ray Chase voices Nier. Oh, is he also the Master of Masters? I didn't even realize that for some reason. That's also awesome. Cool.
If only our harvests weren't so poor lately.
So I saw too with the announcement for the Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary celebration. Speaking of Kingdom Hearts related things, they're releasing all the Kingdom Hearts games on the Switch, and what they're calling like the cloud version. I don't really know what that means, but I haven't looked into it either. So if you guys know, let us know here in the chat. But they're doing that, so that's awesome. And then they are releasing a version of Union Cross, which is like a theater mode. Where you can, like, you get it in offline mode and you can just watch the entirety of the Union Cross story, as well as Dark Road, I think, which is really cool for anybody who wants to like just get that whole side of the Kingdom Hearts timeline, who might not have like played through it on the mobile game, like me, because I played through like half of that game's story on mobile, and then I was like, I can't play this game anymore. But I will watch the YouTube videos and stuff like that of people covering it. But I like that they have another way to let people experience that story now. So the theater mode, that's pretty cool.
Hey, you ever seen a treasure map before?
I don't know why the way he said that just sounded so comical to me. It's like this mundane object. Hey, you ever seen a frog kid? You ever ridden a bicycle near a park? You ever toasted bread and then ate it?
A treasure map?
Sounds like a drug dealer. Oh, man. See what I posted in a gaming channel about fighting the Rathian and Rathalos at the same time? Oh, I hadn't seen that yet. No. Did you do that?
Yeah, a treasure map. You know, a map that shows you where to find buried treasure. I'm collecting
in Final Fantasy XIV?
My lifelong dream is to one day roll naked in a pile of sweet, sweet treasure.
That's weird. Scrooge McDuck over here.
That's an interesting dream.
So that's why I'm looking for a new treasure map or two. If you find one, bring it on over to me, all right?
Okay. If you insist. Yes, I accept the quest. So we're gonna find this dude's treasure map.
Sure thing. I guess I should know where to look for a treasure map before telling the guy sure thing.
It might be smart.
One could hardly expect to stumble across such a thing lying on the ground. Perhaps we should look for a place where old documents are stored.
Old documents, huh?
Old documents, you say? In the library? In the library, you say? Alright. I guess that is where we'll go next. And then we're gonna go to the Strange Things store in Facade.
Curse these tired old...
Way I understand it, the cloud version is basically something similar to like PS Now. So you're essentially streaming the game instead of actually running it on the console. Oh, so it's just coming straight from the server. I see, I understand. That is a bit of a caveat. Anybody without a really good internet connection might have a hard time playing that then. Well, that's kind of a bummer. Test Your Luck can be hilarious in Mortal Kombat X. What's Test Your Luck? Hey, you! Ever heard of the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV with the free trial heading up to Heaven's Ward? No, never. Not once in my entire existence. What is that? Oh wait, I should have gone to the library. Crap. No! Hold on, I've got to go back. All right. Oh, dude, awesome. Good job, Mashi. In the Dragon Slayer. The Devil Joe came to help you fight an Odogaron. I love when that happens. Dude, I know that Monster Hunter Rise is the Monster Hunter game everyone's playing right now in that community. But dude, Monster Hunter World is still awesome. Still holds its own. Speaking of Nintendo stuff, because of course Rise is a Switch game. Has anyone checked out Metroid Dread yet? I have to get that game. I love Metroid. I don't think I've ever really talked about Metroid here on this channel, which is kind of surprising. But I love that franchise, and I've been so excited for the release of Dread. Yeah, it came out on yesterday, October 8th. So I will definitely be picking that game up, because it looks so good. It looks so good, and I'm very excited. They're continuing the narrative from where Metroid Fusion left off, which is cool. I mean, I know a lot of people were like, wanted to see Metroid Prime, right? Which I still want to see that too. That'd be cool for them to return to that. But Metroid Dread, like I didn't think I'd be so excited for another classic Metroid game. But man, it looks great. Probably not. No. It's interesting. The way that they handled her power suit in Metroid Dread is like kind of derivative of the fusion suit that she had from Metroid Fusion, which is actually, it's like skin tight, because it was like the stuff that happened in that game. She lost her powers, and her suit was damaged and everything like that because of I'm trying to remember that is the X virus or the X parasite. That's what it was. The X parasite like damaged her suit. And so after the events of that game, they lead right up into this one, and she's still kind of like coming off of that. And her suit design reflects it, which is really cool. It's not Zero Suit, no, but it's...
As a fellow tome, I find this a sad
it's pretty
sight
neat
to behold. When will books receive the respect they deserve?
That's a biased opinion, Vice.
Calm down. I'm sure it had a happy life. Let's see here. Hey, is this a map?
It is, and one with many unusual markings at that.
Yeah, but it's so damaged I can't make heads or tails of it.
I wager the damaged sections can be repaired.
Of course.
Perhaps the facade at Strange Things store would be able to assist us.
Perhaps the Strange Things store
Worth a
should
shot.
provide assistance to us. Why wouldn't it? It helps us with everything else in this part of the game. All right. Your Switch doesn't connect to internet anymore. What happened, Mashi? So in Test Your Luck, in Mortal Kombat X, says Omega Gale, there are modifiers. They change how the game may work. It can also be buffs or debuffs as well that can completely screw over the other player or you. Interesting. There can be up to 7 of those modifiers. That sounds awesome. That sounds like a good time. Agent Pie is yet to play a Metroid game, but I have been going through the Castlevania games. If you like Castlevania, you probably like Metroid. They're structured very similarly. I very much recommend the Metroid series. For a franchise that's that old, so many of the classic installments in that are awesome even today. Like Super Metroid is still one of the best games to a lot of people. And it plays really well. I am a massive fan of Metroid Fusion too, which is the 4th one. Which it was a Game Boy Advance game, so you'd have to emulate it these days, but it's definitely worth a play. I do play PlayStation. That's correct, Gale. Fusion and the first Prime were my favorite. Another Fusion fan. Heck yeah, man. It's so good. An excellent game. It was like one of those games that I remember just hanging out on my couch when I was in high school and just like sitting there like this. I was like, this is the best Metroid game I've ever played in my life. I need to find out what's going to happen. And I'm so scared because other evil Samus is going to be around the corner, going to destroy me. What do I do? If I find her, I'll have to run, I guess, because I can't fight that. Like, it was so cool. There was like so much adrenaline that would run through me while I played that game, which was so weird for me at the time because I was like, this is a handheld. Never made me feel that way. But it was very suspenseful. It just had a good impact on me. Very well made game. You won't pick up Metroid Dread? Looking forward to Sinnoh remakes, and Legends of Arceus. Legend of Arceus looks good. Pokemon Legend of Arceus looks really good. I'm very excited for that one. Oh, wow. We just devastated these Rams. They did not have a single chance. Things have changed. Hello, Mr. Pig. You ready to die? That's right. You should have told your dad not to attack me in the Northern Plains. That was a mistake. Speaking of the first Metroid Prime game, though, what an awesome experience that was, especially at the time. I remember that was like a massive reason for wanting to own a GameCube for me at the time. I saw that and I was like, that looks so cool. They did a great job with it, bringing Metroid into the 3D space. Like, I didn't expect it to be that good, but oh man, it was awesome. Great story, great music, super fun gameplay mechanics in my opinion. Every battle was great. Just had a good time with that. And Metroid Prime 2 Echoes was actually very good too, in my opinion. Dark Samus was that's where we got Dark Samus from, actually. It's good stuff, man. Metroid Prime 3, I remember playing the first like couple hours of it, and then I felt like it had gone into like a mainstream FPS direction that I didn't really like, and so I never finished that one. I feel the same way about like my experience with Metroid Prime 3 that I do with my experience in Dead Space 3. Where I was like, yeah, another Metroid Prime or another Dead Space, but oh, they changed it big time. Like, it felt too different. The tone of it was all wrong, in my opinion. This whole time, I have a PlayStation. What? You have a PlayStation? What's your PSN ID? Ow, ow, ow. Rude. Jeez. It's kind of savage. My favorite boss in Fusion was the desert section against the robot. I couldn't even believe that the desert section existed. Like, I didn't expect that at all. You know, that game's map was so sprawling. Now I'm thinking about it. It's crazy that it was, because that one's all on the space station, right? And they just have like different biomes. Which of the Sinnoh remakes to get? It's a question for Mashi. All right. Save of the game. I'm gonna take a quick break to go use the restroom, and when I come back, we will continue some Nier Replicant. We'll check in with the question of the day, give you guys some chance to respond to that, and yeah, we'll see where the evening takes us. If you gotta go, I'll see you next time. Keep your head up and your heart strong, and thanks for coming and hanging out with us today. All right, I'll be right back, guys. And we are back. Thank you for tuning in to Fence TV, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the break. So like I said, we're going to check in with the question of the day a little bit. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, it's up in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Silaeth is actually the one who featured this question and asked it in Discord. So it's a viewer question, and he's asking all of us, if you feel existentialism, how do you rationalize your existence to yourself? Now, this is kind of a big question. You know, I had to give it some thought myself, because I feel like a lot of people deal with this nowadays. Existentialism. There's so much information just being like rapidly shared with us all the time, you know. So I think that us young folks, when folks younger than me, actually, who are like connected on a regular basis in an online space, probably feel more existentialism than the rest of us who may not be as connected. And I think that's just because they're getting so many different perspectives and so much information about everything going on in the world that it's much easier for people to think about, like, where is my place in all of this, and what can I even do about anything? And so, you know, this is a big one. I think that, oh, Prince, thank you. Welcome back yourself. Thanks for all the welcome backs, guys. But yeah, so for me, you know, when I feel existential, I think that, you know, I've gotten a change. I've had a change of direction, sometimes a change of pace, you know, something as small as that, where I'm living my life for different reasons than I may have been in the past, or maybe I'm questioning why I'm living my life the way that I am currently. You know, maybe I discovered something that made me rethink things, or framed my life in a different light, and that leads me to question a lot of things, and then I get overwhelmed, and I think, you know, what does everything mean? What can I actually do? What am I supposed to do? And it can get very overwhelming. So, you know, in those moments, those are the times I think that we're trying to rationalize our existence to ourselves. So, you know, as far as like what I do and how I end up rationalizing my existence to myself, there's a couple of approaches that I take. One of them is internal. You know, I reassess and reevaluate why I make the choices that I make. I ask myself, why do the things that matter to me? And sometimes I have to like figure out again what matters to me. Oh, Toon, Mr. Toon Nick, that's a cool name, man. Thank you so much for the raid. What's going on? How are you doing? Get a caster command out for Mr. Tunic. Thank you, Mashi. I appreciate that, man. You're playing some Skyrim. Cool. That is awesome. Man, welcome on in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is The Fence, the home of the limited liability gamers. We are a community focused on providing peer support to one another, providing a safe, judgment-free atmosphere for all kinds of people from different walks of life to enjoy community, unity, and it's a place for us to be able to share our stories and be part of each other's stories. We'd like to do this through playing video games and discussing a lot of the deeper topics found within their narratives, and drawing parallels between what's going on with the games and the characters and the settings and our own world, because I think that video games are a wonderful medium to both explore and discover a lot of different aspects of humanity and the things that make us who we are. So, you know, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome in, man. And ladies, I just say man as a general thing for everybody. I should probably stop doing that, but I'm sorry if that offends anybody. I just want to let you know. But man, thank you so much. I did it again. Damn it. I appreciate the raid. Mr. Tunic, how did you find us? Just out of curiosity. That's cool. Yen, what's going on? A tornado raid. A tornado raid. This went from a Toon-Nade to Tornado Raid. It's a Toon-Nado Raid. Oh my goodness. You made a brand new character, says Toon Nick. Paladin build with an alternate start. What does that mean? What does alternate start mean? Cool, man. Paladins are the best. Everybody knows that. I was gonna ask why your voice sounds so different, but I remember something about a new mic. So actually, Prince, my voice sounds different because of my mic placement. So right now, you know, it's a little bit further away from my face than it usually is because I wanted to kind of make myself more visible. I got this fancy new mic arm, and it changes things for me. But also, I don't have a carpeted floor anymore. Edgelord Roxas with that sub love, dude. Thank you so much. 13 months. Oh my God, you're over a year old in sub years. That's fantastic. Thanks for the support, bud. How are you doing today? We're just welcoming in some new raiders from Mr. Toon-Nick's stream. We just finished playing some Skyrim. So definitely go and show Mr. Toon-Nick some love. Drop a follow. Share that LLG spirit, you guys. But yeah, so new environment too. So we have hardwood floors in this apartment now as opposed to carpet. So there's a lot more echo and stuff like that. And you know, because my mic's not as close to my face as it used to be, we're probably picking some of that up whenever I'm leaning back. So apologies in advance for that. I did try to EQ some of that out, but there's only so much you can do with it. You know what I mean? But yeah, actually, Prince, the new mic. It's right here. This is the blueberry, the blue blueberry. This is Jen's mic, actually. She's letting me use it. But we're waiting on a shock mount to come in for it because I can mount this thing like just as is, but it'd be attached just directly to the arm and it'd pick up everything. Like if I bumped the mic arm or bumped my desk or something like that, you guys would have to listen to all that, and that's not fun. So not using that one just yet. Still using the old AT2020, which it's working good. I mean, it's held up well after all these years, so can't complain. Alternate start mod, says Mr. Tunic. You have 16 options, including vanilla, to choose from. Oh, really? I did not know about that. That's pretty cool. So, what is the start that you had this time? That's awesome. They've done so many mods for that game. Like, that has to be the biggest modded game. No tornadoes. Mr. Reddy! How are you doing tonight? Hoshi's over here making coffee, and I hear something about Nick? Like Teen Nick? Toon Nick. Toon Nick, not Teen Nick, not Nickelodeon. At least I don't think. Oh, okay. So Mashi says, so for example, like being left to die somewhere in the wild after being attacked, and then Tunic follows up saying that's an option, or a vampire in a lair, or necro in a cave. I chose to have a start with Peniticus Oculatus, and I'm already part of the Imperial Legion, kind of. That's cool. So you have like all these different kind of like roleplay scenarios that you can start with. That is awesome. That's really fun. You're trying to catch up on Beastars, Prince. How is that, by the way? I never watched that one. And people were talking about it around the same time that they were talking about BNA, and I was much more interested in BNA because I'm a Trigger junkie. I love anything that comes out of Studio Trigger. But I heard good things about Beastars too. Roxas, I'm so glad to hear that you're doing well, man. That's awesome. You bought a new Switch? You bought a new Switch? You're buying so much new stuff. What is going on? Aren't you trying to save money right now, man? Or is that the Switch Lite that you were talking to me about? I don't know. I don't know when you get some of this stuff. This guy just got one of the new Samsung Galaxy Z Flips. The third generation of it. Which looks like a very cool phone. Huh. Oh, I thought it was Nickelodeon. It could be for a price. Dun, dun, dun. Oh man. Nick probably didn't hear you earlier, but I introduced him to you. I'm one of his mods that have been trying to steal his wife. Oh my god, Yen. Oh, well, stealing wives is bad, okay? Don't do that. That already happened to a character in Nier Replicant today, okay? And that dude wants to kill that person who stole his wife. You don't want to get murdered by Nick, I'd assume. Don't steal wives. Oh, but thank you so much for introducing him to our channel. That's super cool of you. That's awesome. Yeah, Yen's a good friend of ours here on the Fence. I didn't know that you modded for his stream. That's very cool. That doesn't change things, Yen. Okay? That doesn't change what I said. On a random note, Lil says, I'm excited for the new Halloween movie. That's right. I have seen a couple advertisements for that. Not a big fan of like some of the camp horror films myself these days. I mean, I haven't watched one in a very long time. But I know that a lot of big fans of the series are out there right now. They're super excited for it. One of my friends, Tyler, actually being one of them, I watched, which one was it? It was a Freddy Krueger movie. I want to say it was like the 8th Freddy Krueger movie or something like that. Last time I was in Albuquerque, which was oh no, that wasn't last year. That was earlier this year. It's been a very long year. But that was the first time I had seen that one. And that was pretty fun. It made me laugh a lot, which I wasn't expecting. I imagine that's how a lot of that stuff is, though. Machi says, if I were to steal Jin, I would get killed by Chris. And no comment on that one, okay? That's illegal. Oh, Roxas, you bought a full-size Switch because you were never using your Switch Lite. Oh, okay. Wait, weren't you just using your Switch Lite though? You were playing Pokemon just the other day, weren't you? I don't know. Anyway, cool. You got a new Switch. Did you get one of the OLED ones? You got hit with a follow bot attack a couple weeks ago. Oh man, how did you deal with that, Nick? You got to meet, oh, that's right. Didn't you get to meet that actor, Lilith, that played Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th Part 6 at Comic-Con last time you went? Oh, Gail, thank you so much. I'm going to copy pasta that right now so I don't lose it. We could be PSN buddies. All right, give me 1 sec. I'm going to put that in my notepad. Bam. There we go. Clackety clack clack clack. I'm sure you guys can hear that. All right. Cool. Hoshi, you can't steal Jin. You can't steal Jin. Illegal things happen when people try to steal Jin. Oh, you got the regular model, Roxas. Okay. You got follow botted too, Mashi? It happens. It happens all the time. It's crazy. Usually ban them all right away. Yeah, sometimes you see that, like, just people just chilling, like, in the chat, that you've never heard say anything ever, and you go and check out, like, their account, and they're like, was just created last week, and you're like, really? And there's a whole lot of numbers at the end of your name, and you have no records of activity anywhere? Like, that person might not be real. But sometimes they are. There are exceptions. So I just wait. I wait. If someone does something malicious, then I'm like, ban. If they don't do anything, I guess hang out. Unless, of course, I've noticed like a lot of that. There's like a whole bunch of people that don't exist. And it's like, you know, getting like followers a lot, or you're getting view botted or something like that, then yeah, that's a problem. So far, I've been very lucky. I haven't been the victim of any of those kinds of malicious activities yet. Knock on wood. Lost answered the question of the day, saying, for me, existentialism is usually focused around my mortality rather than my existence as a whole. I get insomnia about it sometimes. Lost, help me understand what you mean, man. When you say that your existentialism is focused around your mortality, like, what do you mean by that exactly? I mean, I have an idea of what you mean, but I'd rather hear it from you. For sure, Omega Gale. So just for reference, that's my PSN ID. So if you get a friend request from that name, it's me. Because it's not, you know, what I usually go by in other places other than PSN. I made that account a very long time ago, before any of like this community stuff was conceptualized. So I guess I could change it. I mean, you can do that now, right? But I don't know. Just decided to leave it. You guys can't have a girl's day out, a ghost girl's day out. Why ghost? Why did you guys die? Did I miss something? We're just trying to be spooky. Hate to raid and ditch, says Nick, but I gotta go grab some Din Din. No, dude, thank you so much for the raid in general. I appreciate it very much. I appreciate having your community come and check us out for a little bit. After a stream, I want to go get some grub too, so I totally get where you're coming from. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll have to check your content out sometime, especially if Yin is moderating for you. You know, if you're Yin approved, then you'll probably be Fence approved too. Anyway, have a wonderful night. Keep your head up and your heart strong out there. If you guys haven't already, too, definitely make sure to go and check out Mr. Toontig. Drop a follow if you're interested, and show him some love. Cool, Gale. Right on. Check our house for the ghost thing. Okay, wait. Am I gonna have to seek this out? I'm gonna have to search for this? Because I can't do that. Probably tag me in it or something like that. No, actually, when I get the setup and such, I may become a VTuber. That'd be cool. That's pretty popular right now. I noticed there's a lot of new VTubers springing up all over the place. Roxas answered the question of the day saying, thankfully, I don't feel that way anymore, probably due to my meds, but it's not something I can resonate with just how I am, but death is my deepest fear. And you're not alone, you know? So many of us are afraid of death because what's beyond death? We all have different answers for that, and a lot of us will default to, we don't know, right? We don't know. And that makes it really, really scary. We don't know what comes after that. We don't know if anything comes after that, right? And, you know, this gets into like our faith and spirituality and stuff like that. So depending on where you lie on those topics, I think that your answer for that it changes. And so, but I think that when you don't have an answer for that, I think it ends up being this like very scary thing. And it's completely understandable. And I think that's something, you know, the fear of death and mortality is one of those things that like you kind of have to come to grips with it on your own terms, in your own way. I don't know that like other people can really like help you out with fixing that one, other than just, you know, just talking with them and kind of comparing ideas and feelings surrounding it. I've talked with a lot of people about death before, because it's a topic that people avoid a lot, and I think it's worth talking about, because I think that there's a lot of us that let our fear of it rule our lives in some way, and I feel like it becomes more unknown and more scary when it's taboo to talk about. It's not a fun thing to talk about all the time, sure, but when we avoid it, it stays more obscure and it's more scary. by extension of that. And so I always thought that, you know, if we could talk about it, it'd be less scary, more manageable in terms of like how we cope with it and deal with it. So I encourage that kind of conversation. Sorry, I'm not laughing because of that. I'm laughing because I just read the ghost comment again, and the thought popped into my head as like, and sometimes we just become ghosts, and then we make jokes about that apparently. Next community is a bit more mature, for warning. Some 18+ topics do happen. We've been warned. Thanks for the warning, Yin. All right, cool. Thanks, Hoshi. Roxa says, I'm just a very logical person, and I believe that there's absolutely nothing. And so that's hard to deal with sometimes. Yeah, the idea that, you know, I don't know, we die and then poof, just there's nothing else for us, right? That's where the journey ends. That's where the story ends. So the question that I would pose to this is, you know, and this might seem obvious to some of you, and I'm not trying to be insensitive, I promise. But what's so bad about that? Say there's nothing. Say there's nothing after we die. So what? What does that mean for us right now? Like, everything that we do here is still real, right? Everything that is happening right now, this conversation, the lives that we're touching, the career paths that we're following, our families, the things that we love, the things that we hate, like all of that stuff is still true, still part of life. Just because at the end of it, like, for the sake of discussion, say if there was nothing at the end of that, why is that so scary then if we're not even going to experience that? I asked this question not to devalue or invalidate anyone's feelings of fear surrounding the concept of death. But I asked that because in my mind, if I think of it that way, well, then it doesn't matter once it happens, right? Like, there's no me left to worry about what's happening at that point. And regardless of whether there was or wasn't, it doesn't change what's happening right now in this moment. And there's a lot of stuff that I care about right now. There's a lot of stuff that I'm doing right now. And so to me, when I think about that, the end point of the journey doesn't change what you find on your way to the destination or the value of it, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. That's just how I feel about it. Like, what do you guys think, chat? Like, what do you think about that? Again, not trying to like challenge beliefs or anything like that, but just to think about it from this perspective, the way that Roxas is talking about it. If there's nothing there afterwards, then what is scary? What is scary about that? What is scary about everything coming to a halt after we die? So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. And if this is too heavy of a topic for some of y'all, if this is something that you don't want to break into, don't feel pressured to. It's totally okay just to hang out and listen to what other people are saying. And just kind of take it in. So, no, I have so many plans I just want to talk about. And Omega Gale, talk about as little or as much as you want. Open forum here, you know what I mean? I'm glad you're excited. Yin also plans to become a VTuber, and you're working on your avatar. Cool. Very cool. How are you working on the avatar, by the way? Like how do you do that? So it seems like, because everybody has to come up with a persona for it, right? Like, it's more than just the avatar. Like, you have a character, basically, that you're playing when you're a VTuber too, right? So in my mind, I think about that like back when I used to RP and stuff. Like, if you're coming up with an original character, I imagine that approaching your VTuber persona is very similar. Is that right? Or do you handle it differently than that? VTubing gives me a way to keep privacy with the type of streams I plan to do. Okay. You know what's interesting about it is that with VTubing, I feel like, you know, one of the barriers for people who wanted to become live streamers for years was that they weren't comfortable putting themselves out there, yet they were very interested in making content, and they didn't know how to do that without putting themselves out there in a way that they felt like exposed them. So, you know, the way that the business works was, or is still, you know, if you're not using a camera, a lot of times people aren't as interested in your content who are browsing. Like if you're looking at discoverability and you're browsing through channel lists, a lot of times the people that don't have cameras are less interesting, and so you're less likely to click on them. That doesn't mean that their content isn't good or isn't worth watching. It's just psychologically speaking, people are less likely to check you out at all when they're browsing and looking around if you don't have a camera. And so a lot of people felt like, oh, well, so maybe I can't do anything with this. But I feel like the VTuber thing has like tackled that issue, which is really cool. Wait, Vince, you roleplayed before, or did my ears deceive me? I used to RP a lot, actually. I did it a ton when I was in high school, and then I did it afterwards for like 3 years. A lot of times when I played MMOs, I was an RPer in MMOs, and I would build communities around that while I played. And a lot of our guilds, or I guess just for a general statement, guilds that I would build in MMOs would be kind of somewhat centered on that idea, because playing characters is fun. And then I did it, you know, for a little while here on the Fence, actually, too. Not on stream, but, you know, we had RP server sections set up in the Discord server before that I used to try and participate in and stuff several years ago. It's fun. I like that kind of stuff. I just don't find the time for it really anymore. I do sketches to come up with the concept, and then I take it into a 3D modeling program. Oh. And for me, it's sort of my persona, my mask. So you could be whoever you want to be at that point. That's cool. So you're able to like really make this very personalized because of the skill set that you have, Yin. That's awesome. Yeah, RP is a good time. No judgment here. This is not the place for it. Judgment, that is. RP, that's fine. You do what you want. I will support you. RP is awesome. It's a great way to, one, explore your imagination and be very creative. But two, there's something that happens in role-playing where, especially social role-playing, like we talk about the value of video games here a lot, and role-playing in video games being able to teach us a lot and offer different perspectives. But when we're role-playing with other people, there's something that happens where you get to explore so many different possibilities and personalities. And I think that it's valuable even just for widening your worldview, and growing your perspective, building tolerance of things that could potentially be out there in the world, even if the RP sessions that you're participating in are outlandish. And the reason I feel that way is because everyone tends to make their own characters, or even if they're not making their own characters, they're expressing their interpretation of an existing character that is unique to that player. And that means that everybody else who's playing with them gets to understand a different perspective, a different take on an existing character, or better yet, a completely original character that they might not ever get to meet, like personality-wise, in real life. And then they have to navigate conversations and situations with that type of person, and there's just a lot of cool things that can happen in RP. And it is very fun, too. This is why Dungeons & Dragons is also so awesome. I love that aspect of it. So, yeah, man. No one should ever make fun of RPers, okay? Because, look, RPers are woke. I believe that. Did we lose our music? Weird. Okay. So let's see. Mashi, so I guess I'm not very interesting then, he says. I barely ever use my microphone and I'll never use a cam. So, I would love a rephrasing of that. You are interesting. Your stream from a browsing standpoint is very uninteresting. Yes, you're correct on that aspect of it. Because think about it. I mean, like, if you're browsing, what reason is there for someone to click on your stream at a glance? And that's what I was talking about with that. So yeah, it becomes very uninteresting because then you look like everybody else who's not doing that. At which point it's just like, it's just the game that they're playing, right? Unless you're like an art streamer or you're doing something IRL or crafts or something like that. And then automatically whatever content you're making is interesting because it stands out even without the camera. But in the video game streaming space, I think that no mic, no camera, very uninteresting for the average user. Yeah. Lilith says, to be honest, I'm the person who looks for face cams. I think is because I feel connected to the person and watching better, which is natural. It's natural. We want to connect with each other. As human beings, that's something that we're looking to do a lot of times. Even some of the most introverted people still kind of have that desire somewhere. They might not want to meet a particular kind of person, or they might have a jaded generalization of how people are, but when we're met with a person that we click with, we want to connect with them. We're social beings by nature. So that is part behind, in my opinion, that's behind why face cams make you more engaging and more desirable to watch in these kinds of settings as content creators. You know. Edgelord Roxas, continuing the conversation about mortality earlier, Roxas says, I just don't want to die. I'm afraid of how I'm going to die, and it's hard to accept that I won't be alive to experience new things or always be around there for the ones I love. And again, very relatable, very understandable fear. I think the majority of people in the world can understand where this feeling can come from. And if you don't, then I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic too, if you wish to share them, chat. But yeah, so here's my thoughts on that. And thank you for sharing, Roxas. Is it like being afraid of how we're gonna die? Man, I definitely feel that. There could be some terrible ways to die, right? Like, there could be dumb ways to die. There could be definitely more peaceful ways to die that I'm sure most of us would prefer if we had to go out, you know, to go on a peaceful term of some sort. But it's a lot of uncertainty. There's way too many factors and possibilities out there. No way to really pin down how that's going to happen or what that's going to look like, and that's scary. Again, it's an unknown. Unknown is scary. So I feel that. In terms of the other aspect that you brought up, though, is like, you know, finding it hard to accept that you won't be alive to experience new things or always be around for the ones that you love. My thoughts on that are the idea that we are not going to be here forever. The idea that there will absolutely be things that we won't experience, that we won't get to be around for. That fact makes the time that we have here valuable. Think about it this way. If we were going to be here forever, if there was no chance of any of us dying, of any of our stories coming to an end, imagine yourselves living for hundreds of years. How many cycles would you see play out over and over again? Now think about that and then compare it to the mundane aspects of daily living, okay? Those of you guys who have jobs and work, those of you guys who've gone to school, you can already understand some of this, and there's a routine to those things, right? Like, there might be different problems that come up on specific days in your job, but your life at work is very much similar day in and day out to the day before. And you can probably predict how things are going to go the next day because of it. That makes it boring after a while, right? And what I mean by boring is it's not as interesting or engaging to the mind, to our experience. And this is why we do things like forget entire weeks because nothing changed or nothing interesting to us seemed to have happened, even though there might have been a lot of different things happening around us. So I think most of us can agree that our time spent at work every single day is not something that we come home and are like, this was a special day, you know? Special days will happen. But most of the time, I bet you that the cool things that we talk about will happen outside of what we consider to be normal. Now, if we're living for hundreds of years, that same feeling that we get at work and at school, you know, you go to the same classes every day, you see the same people every day, hear lectures from the same person every day, becomes mundane. This, on a grand scale of many, 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 many decades, I feel like you would notice these types of trends and patterns in life as a whole. And at that point, why is any of it worth paying attention to? Not because it's not worth paying attention to, but because we would feel like this is humdrum. The value and the meaning of existence at that point becomes watered down and diluted. And then we face, you know, conceptually, theoretically, a whole new type of existentialism. So all that is to say, to come back to this point of me thinking that because there is an end to our story, that makes the individual chapters and events within it valuable. And if we didn't have an end, none of it would matter. That idea is something that helps me feel comfortable with the concept of death, because I know that, you know, it's gonna come. It's a natural part of life. It happens to everything organic. And that's another thing that helps me feel more comfortable with it. Because it happens to everything organic, we're not singled out and like being punished for something. It's sad to think about. It's tragic when we lose things and people that we love. It hurts. But the idea that it hurts means that it was valuable to us. And that means that we had something special for the time that we had it. You think about it this way, you know, whenever something happens to a family member, like a grandfather or grandparent, an uncle or someone passes away, go to their funeral, what naturally happens? We tend to think about the people that we have left, right? Suddenly we're more motivated to talk to people. We make more phone calls to our parents and our family members. We reach out to our friends more. And then after a while, we sort of go back to the way it was afterwards. You know, we start taking things for granted. Because that's just what it is to be a human being. It doesn't make us bad. You know, it's good to make efforts to, you know, still appreciate the people and the things that we have in our lives, but that's just natural. It's just what happens to us subconsciously and as we go about our lives. So, you know, by that logic in my mind, it means that even our relationships could feel less valuable given enough time if there was never going to be an end to them. You know, I've lost friends, and some of the friendships that I've lost are some of the relationships that I will never forget for my entire life. And maybe sometimes there's a part of me that would wish for that friendship to, you know, be alive again. Because I have such fond memories and experiences within it. However, you know, it's unlikely that those things would happen. And because it came to an end, makes it something precious and worth cherishing to me. It's still sad that those things end. That's still true. But because there is an end to it, it is valuable to me. It is more valuable to me, I should say. So, you know, it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to kind of like try to wrap one's head around, I think, whenever we're thinking about the scariness of death and mortality. And for you, it might not take those feelings away like it has for me to think about it that way. But that's just how I think about it. And how it makes me more comfortable with the concept. And I think to simplify it, it's an inevitability that we are all a part of in this cycle of life. and because of that, it's not something I have to like or look forward to necessarily, but it is something that becomes more acceptable to me, knowing that that is just how the world works. You know, but again, that's just how I look at it. I don't think it's an easy thing to come to terms with for everybody at all. I know a lot of folks struggle with that, you know, and it's completely understandable. All right, I'm gonna catch up on chat a little bit here. Still very interested in hearing your thoughts, chat, and I'll be catching up with all of your messages. If I'm a little bit behind because I'm reading some of the older messages, don't worry, I will get caught up. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw slow mode on for now, just until I do, and then when I get caught up, we'll take it off, okay? Sorry, my throat's a little bit dry. I'm talking a lot more than I have in the last 2 weeks. Still kind of getting over COVID, so forgive me there. So earlier, Omega Gale said, wow, I never knew you roleplayed before. I'm a role player myself and been going on for 6 to 7 years. Still going strong, actually. That's awesome, man. Keep it alive. I love it. Role-playing, it's very stimulating, very interesting. I can't say anything else different than what I said before. I just think it's awesome. That's cool that you do it. Garrett, I did appear. It lost. I'm not skipping over your reply. I just realized what it is, and so I'm gonna double back to it after I catch up on some of these other messages. Udzi, welcome back, man. Good to see you, dude. We were playing Nier Replicant earlier. I guess technically we still are, but we got caught up in some deep conversations, so we're hanging here for a minute. Let's see. Oh, I know what you meant, Mashi. I know. I tend to split hairs. I apologize for that. I like being clear, you know? Okay, coming back to Lost's reply here. So Lost says, the ceasing of my very existence is terrifying to me. And you can ask why, but it's an undescribable thing. I mean, you can say, well, if you don't exist, what's there to be afraid of? But the answer is the reason, which makes no sense to some who does not fear the lack of existence. So, I mean, I'm a person who, I did fear that at one point. And so I think I understand what you mean here. Because to not exist means that who you are right now, what you are, your potential, your impact, that's gone. And you find that very valuable. This is life as you know it. So life as you know it ceasing to be is an inconceivable concept, and the idea that it will happen is terrifying. It's like knowing the tragedy behind a terrible car accident, seeing how it's going to take place before it happens, and at the same time knowing there is absolutely nothing you can do to stop it. It has to happen. It's like kind of like helpless. It's a helpless feeling. There's nothing you can change about it, and the idea of like that you can't change anything about that car crash happening and still knowing that it's going to have this crazy effect, doesn't make it better. You know, it doesn't make that car crash more bearable or less tragic. I think that feeling is similar to kind of what you're describing. Is that right, Lost? And that makes sense to me. See, Roxas continued to say, but imagine this, right? If we lived for hundreds of years, people would probably learn from their mistakes. I feel at least because we would learn from them and we wouldn't make mistakes as previous generations. Because if someone was 150 years old and say you're 500 years old, it'd be a lot easier for people to make better choices as they would have the experience versus people making the same mistakes as the generations before us. So let's scale that down a little bit and explore what you're saying here. You're saying, if people live longer, they will make fewer mistakes. They will be less likely to repeat the same mistakes. Okay. When's the last time that you repeated a mistake that you knew you shouldn't do? How frequently does that happen? On a small scale, there are a lot of lessons that we've learned throughout our lives to not do things because we know better. that we still do anyway. And sometimes it's because of trauma. Sometimes mental illness is involved. Sometimes, a lack of willpower in the moment is involved. There are things we do all the time that we are conscious of the negative repercussions for that we still choose to do anyway, despite having learned lessons. Does that mean that we're doomed to inevitably repeat mistakes all the time? Not necessarily. I don't think so. We can learn, we can grow, and we can improve. But the idea that because we live longer and have more opportunities to hold on to these lessons and learn from them means that we will eventually not make very many mistakes, I think is a fallacy. I'll tell you a story about my mom recently, where, our whole lives, my life, her life, my grandfather is a carpenter. He is a very stout believer in the ideology of measure twice, cut once, right? Measure twice, cut once. Wisdom that I think most of us can resonate with, right? It means double check what you're doing before you commit to it so that you can make sure you have the means to do it properly. My mom knows this. She's lived her life pretty much strictly by it for most of her life. However, she was recently involved in a project where she is trying to build a shade house for her plants, for her garden. She knows to measure twice, cut once. Yet, she didn't do it. She has followed that ideology for much of her life. Yet while doing this, she didn't do it. And she had to buy more materials now because she bought the wrong materials. She kind of jumped the gun on some of this stuff. And she was talking to me about it and being like, I know better. I'm mad at myself for this. I shouldn't have done that. Sure. Right. This is a lesson she learned a long time ago. And she's relearning it right now. It's not because there's anything wrong with her. It's not because, it's something that's normal. It's something that we do. And I think most of us can identify with this in some way or another, that doesn't change just because we live for hundreds of years. You can follow that. Like, she followed that philosophy for her whole life, and it got her very far. And yet she will still sometimes not follow that. I have also done that plenty of times, just committed to a decision because I was like confident in it. I was like, this is gonna work out this way, and then it didn't. And I could have prevented the negative consequences if I would have just taken a little bit more time. This is one example of what I'm trying to say, which is that the idea that we would make fewer mistakes because we live longer holds up. Sounds nice. The human element being introduced into that idea, I think tells a very different story. And then, of course, by extension, the idea that people who have lived for a long time can share these experiences with others, and future generations will be less likely to make those same mistakes. Man, how many people are repeating mistakes that people have made in their family before? A lot of people. A lot of people. Why? Because just because someone said that's how it works doesn't mean it can't be different for me. I'm going to try to find out myself anyway. Right? That is a strong desire in so many of us. It's human nature, I think, for a lot of us. And so for that reason, I don't think that aspect of life would necessarily change just because people could live longer. And for the sake of the discussion of mortality, I don't believe that even if all that were true, I don't think that would necessarily make life more valuable, or would take away the value of having a stop point in our lives just because we can continue to learn from our mistakes, if that makes sense. Again, this is all just discussion here. I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. I'm just making my case, D-Loss says, I can't articulate with autocorrect on his phone. That's okay, man. Take your time, buddy. Udsy says, I work with automation and technology. When I explain my work to others, there is so much to me, or that me and my work team deal with daily. But for others, lots of stuff would be complicated. Right. Right. Just because different minds work in different ways. Roxa says, so, I mean, from that way that I'm thinking about it, I just think it's important to know I'm also thinking that death is still possible and can still be held precious if we live hundreds of years. I'm thinking about it like we're not invincible. So I don't know. I'm just kind of weird. What I would suggest in this situation, not that you're looking for a suggestion, but just to broaden your viewpoint on this topic, go find old people. Go find them, round them up. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. No, just go find old people and talk to them. Ask them questions about their worldview. Ask them questions about their lives, and try to get their perspective on this. You know, ask them about how fulfilled they think their life is or isn't. You know, a lot of old folks that I've talked to have told me things similar to, you know, I've lived life long enough. I'm happy. I'm satisfied. I could die and be okay. Or, you know, there are regrets that I have. I wish that I could do these things, but I can no longer do them because of my physical limitations. And so to me, I feel comfortable with the idea that my story is going to come to an end. That's not always the case. I'm talking about like the positive sides of this. There are also plenty of people I've talked about that, you know, still haven't come to terms with that idea, and they are terrified of it. It is something that they didn't have a grip on before the end. And you know, that also provides a lot of food for thought, which I think anybody who has experienced that, you know, and resonates with that a lot, feel free to chime in and offer that side of the discussion, because that is something that we haven't dove into as much yet. It is not something that I have as much experience with, and so I don't have that perspective to offer, really. But I know that it exists. But yeah, through my conversations with older folks, that has kind of supplemented why I feel the way I do about it and why I think about it the way that I do. And it can still change as I continue to live my life too. But yeah, one thing that I have noticed is that like things blur together. Memories, while they don't completely go away, they feel very distant for older folks. And you know, it's harder to cherish each of the individual moments when you have so many of them. It just becomes more difficult to do. And so the longer, in my mind, that means that the longer we live, the more potential we have for many of those moments that we would cherish if there were fewer of them, to pile up and become a mass, like a collective of things that lose their individuality, and therefore start to lose what some of the characteristics that we would find significant in them as a result, because they're lumped together with everything else that's like that. You know, this might not resonate with some, but another example, think about like your favorite snack, okay? Your favorite snack. You have a giant bag of potato chips. It's your favorite flavor. What happens when you rip into that bag? I bet a lot of you just go to town. Cool, I'm gonna eat a whole bunch of these potato chips because I have a lot of them, right? Now, what happens when that bag starts to run empty? How do you handle the way that you eat it? Some of you are just gonna be like, the fence, it doesn't change for me at all. I'm just gonna keep eating the chips because I'm gonna go buy more when I'm done with this bag. That's fair. Are any of you out there going to ration and portion control the remaining chips so that you can have them for longer? I'm in that camp. I do that. Again, this is not a universal thing. This is just an example of the point that I'm trying to make. That feeling to me is representative of what I'm trying to say with the value of things in life as well. I'm out of water, Mashi. It's a problem. I have to get more. Omega Gale said that, to me, roleplay is a way to escape a few things and get out of my head in a sense and into a new world. It's escapism, yeah. Sometimes I may get a bit too involved and I get phantom feelings, which that is a part of it, yeah. Which is strange nonetheless. Interesting, right? Because you can immerse yourself in these worlds and these stories so much that you might adopt characteristics or feelings that your character that you're playing would have for other characters or other things that are happening in that world, which that is really interesting. That, to me, is very representative of the power of the mind, and how our mind, in the way that it perceives what's real and what's not, dictates what reality is, what the rules of reality are. Super interesting. Also super interesting to realize that, knowing that, we can manipulate what is real and what isn't in our own individual ways. Reality is not universal, I don't think. I think that you can have 10 people in a room and 10 people are in their own room, even if they're all in the same room, because it looks different, at least a little bit, to all of them. It feels different to all of them. People are living for hundreds of years. Garrett brought up a point. I hope that birth rates would go down, though, because, man, that would suck. There'd be so many more people on the planet. We'd have to jump ship. Or something else terrible would happen, I'm sure. Lost said earlier, it's not my impact or the lack of new experience, it's quite simply the lack of being. Even as a floating ball of nothing, just existing is enough for me. The idea of not existing, that all the universe will slowly expand into nothing. The lack of all meaning of it all. No one will remember me. All monument signs that anything ever existed will eventually vanish. I struggle to find the meaning in everything, if in the end, there is nothing. We just watched a movie that kind of plays with this. It's an anime film. It's old at this point, but we just watched the third Madoka movie, the Magical Girl Madoka movie, and the last two movies actually touch on this a lot. But I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. If you haven't seen it, you should go check these movies out. They're awesome. But it plays around with that concept. You kind of have to decide what the meaning of existence is at that point. If everything was going to vanish, no one's telling us what existence means anymore at that point. We have to figure it out. We have to decide for ourselves. The idea that there's not a definitive right answer, I think, is something that's difficult for people to fathom. And again, it's understandable as to why. And I don't think anybody can tell you that you should or shouldn't, because, like I said earlier, reality is different for different people depending on who they are and how they look at things. So, I get it. I get that, if everything is going to just disappear, that could take away the meaning for some. And at that point, that is very scary. I would be terrified of that too. As he said, we all make mistakes and will continue. We will learn some of your mistakes, but you still are who you are. A mistake is often that I'm often nice to others. Oh, that's what you feel like your mistake is? Then why is that a mistake? Hoshi said, I'm gonna go grab some food, maybe watch some anime, but it was nice to see everyone. Yeah, for sure, Hoshi. It was good to see you too. Not see because I can't see you all, but you know what I mean. I got you. Yeah, thank you very much for the well wishes. I'm also glad I'm feeling better, Hoshi. I will completely recover soon. I'll keep you posted. Keep your head up and your heart strong, Hosh. We'll see you next time on the fence. Dinner's ready? Oh, sweet. This conversation went way deeper than I anticipated it when I came back from the break. So those of you guys who are expecting more gameplay, sorry to disappoint a little bit. I think I'm actually gonna start wrapping up. But I felt like this is such a meaningful conversation to have. And you guys all had very interesting thoughts and points to make and experiences to share. And so, that is the focal point of the content here. Share your story, be part of ours. That is our motto around here. So I appreciate everybody who's been sharing and letting us learn from each other through your guys' experiences today. You're all awesome. Let's see, Roxa said, it makes sense when you, the way you explain it. It's almost as if life becomes dull because we're so used to everything. Maybe at a certain point we lose how important life really is. That's how I look at it. I'm not saying that's how it is, and that's the only way it can be, but yeah, that's how I look at it. That's what makes sense to me. Yeah. Giving her all the slow mode we got, Captain. The chat's still moving too fast because everybody's got something to say. It's a good thing. That's cool. I love it. Roxa said, it makes me think that we maybe get complacent and devalue things. I feel like if we get that old, right? That makes sense. It's almost as if we become desensitized to life. Right, and when you bring up that point too, it's like when you're overexposed to something, right? That desensitization that you mentioned occurs. You know, these soldiers, you know, in a very extreme example, who have seen a lot of combat, you know, their relationship with death is far different than anybody else who has not been that close to it for so long. They become desensitized to it, and a lot of times you'll hear them talk about it very casually. Of course, there's also a lot of people who will have a hard time discussing it because of trauma, and that's a whole different discussion. I just wanted to acknowledge it because that is very real too. But that's not what I'm diving into with this conversation. But yes, desensitization happens naturally. Again, it's not. I don't want to label it like good or bad. It's just is one of those things I think that is. It's just part of life. The more we're exposed to something, the less it has a significant impact on us in a lot of cases. Not all cases, but in a lot of cases. Such a fun topic to think about, though. I'm going to leave it there, but it's something I've thought about for a very long time, says Roxas. Awesome, man. And thank you for sharing your thoughts, too. As I said, I'm not overwriting what you're saying, so I hope it didn't come off that way. I'm simply sharing like how I came to the conclusion that I have in my experience. So please don't let me change, like don't feel like you need to change the way you think about it or feel about it on account of my feelings. But I appreciate the opportunity to have been able to discuss this together as well. And same for you, Lost. And everybody else who has chimed in to talk about this, like you guys, you all have really interesting thoughts on this. Like I said earlier, this is something I think we should talk about more, or not like us specifically, but we as human beings should be able to talk about more because it allows us to think about it differently. It allows us to, like I said, learn from each other, and add some more context to this concept that is very scary for a lot of us, which I think is really helpful. So thank you all for participating in that. All right, look at that, I caught up. Slow mode is over. Boom, we did it. Yeah. So that's an interesting point to make too, Roxas. Like being in the military for a year, I mean, you became desensitized to things that you were exposed to on a regular basis there, right? Yeah. Y'all are very smart people, very smart individuals. I don't know how often you get to go out there and have these kind of conversations with other people, but the way you talk about things, guys, is indicative that maybe it happens more than I think. Because I think that you've got a way of being able to present your perspectives to other people in ways that make sense. And I think that comes with social experience personally. And those of you who don't have many opportunities to do that, keep coming back. Let's keep talking here, because I want to provide all of you as many opportunities that I can afford to give for that kind of conversation. Not specifically just the mortality thing, but anything that lets us explore ourselves a little bit more and get to know one another and the world a little bit better. Very valuable to me. But yeah, you guys are all awesome. Get it? I don't know. Round of applause. I feel like that's in order for everybody right now. It's a good conversation, you know? I feel like we accomplished something here. I can't tell you exactly what that is, but it was meaningful to me. I hope it was as meaningful to you guys too. It's been so good. It's been so good being back here today. I want to thank all of you guys for coming in and supporting the stream. We got some more new subs here. We got a couple new followers from, well, I guess it was from actually like last night. I was running around talking to some new people and stuff like that. So I guess we didn't get any new followers today, but we had some new people come in and say hi and talk with us for a little while, which I think was really cool. So I appreciate getting to connect with more folks today. And we had a lot of people who have been here for a while who came back and came participate in the discussion. So thank you guys so much. As I always say, this thing wouldn't be able to happen without you guys contributing. And I don't think you understand sometimes just how much you contribute simply by sharing your stories here with us. This peer support thing that we do wouldn't work without that element of it. And I think that you guys are making a very meaningful impact and are making change in your own ways every single time that you come and share your thoughts and your feelings on the things that we're talking about here. So keep being you guys. And I just know that I appreciate you very much. I want to share one more thing with you guys before I go. It's somewhat of a personal announcement. Not necessarily stream related, but somewhat stream related. So as I mentioned earlier in the show, I have a new job. What is that job, you might wonder? Well, I am, well, let me backtrack a bit. During the last 2 weeks, I've been dealing with COVID. And during the first week of having COVID, I was still working remotely because I was quarantining. But I also had a job interview lined up, which I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be hard to do. When I set the job interview up, I felt a little bit off. I didn't realize that I had COVID. And then it turned out that I did. Anyway, I applied for this job as a call for change and youth care coordinator for a mental health agency out here in Pennsylvania. So to kind of like elaborate on this a little bit, the job was presented to me through someone sharing it in our peer support group with the people that I graduated my peer support certification class with last year. We made a group chat, kind of stayed in touch over the last year. And anyway, they shared this job. I saw it and I was like, this sounds awesome, because what the role is sort of like making a difference in the mental health care system out here in PA. And they were looking for someone to, you know, help make changes within the call for change, which is something that shifts the focus of mental health treatment from a treatment-focused approach to a recovery-focused approach, and is trying to incorporate youth and young adults into that and apply it in ways that would be advocating for youth and young adults, would be providing resources and trainings that could help the mental health care system when it comes to youth and young adults, and much more. And this was an opportunity that I saw like, oh my God, this is so awesome. The whole reason I started streaming, the whole reason I wanted to get into peer support was because it was all inspired by the way that I felt about youth and young adults not having as strong of a voice because they weren't given one, not having as many opportunities to express themselves, to not having as many people advocate for their needs and for what they wanted, wanted other people to understand about them. And I thought that where they provided those types of opportunities, it could change the world, and that people, like young people, would have a much better opportunity and shot at living a fulfilling life that they wanted to live. That was very important to me. So when I saw this role, I was like, holy crap, Like, that sounds so awesome. But I was like, I'm not qualified for it. I don't have like a degree in anything. I don't know about some of the specifics this job would require that were listed in the recommended requirements for the position. And also, I don't live anywhere close to this agency. They actually are in a city about an hour and a half away from where I live. And so, you know, I kind of resigned myself to being like, well, that's cool, but you know, I can't jump on this opportunity. I'll just have to, you know, hope another one comes along. And I expressed this. I expressed this to Jen, and I expressed this to my fellow peer support classmates. And everybody was like, what do you mean? Why not? Why aren't you qualified? Like, everyone here is qualified. You should take a shot. If you're interested in it, give it a shot. I was like, I don't know, maybe. And for the record, I was very satisfied with the job that I have now, the position that I was in at the time. I love peer support work. I love going out in the field and meeting people and helping them achieve their goals and celebrating their accomplishments with them and working through difficult times with them. I love it. So it wasn't like I was trying to like get out of that or, you know, anything to do with like not liking where I'm at. It was just something that it really resonated with what my values were and what my reasons for doing this type of work were to begin with. So anyway, I decided after, you know, sleeping on it and talking about it a little bit with my peers and with Jen, I'm gonna give it a shot. You know, just see what happens. So we updated my resume. I wrote a cover letter. I submitted it. They called me for an interview the next day. I set up that interview for the Monday. To give you perspective of the timeline, I got sick with COVID on the preceding Friday. Monday, I got a COVID test. And then at that same day, I had just gotten over a fever of 101 the night before. It was coming down through Monday. And went through the job interview on Monday. Apparently, I did great because they called me back for a second job interview. And that was going to be on Wednesday. So the second job interview, I needed to be prepared for like, I'm going to tell them like what it is that I can bring to the table and why I'm going to be the right pick for this position. So I was like, okay, I can do that. This thing's becoming real in my mind at this point. I'm just like, oh my God, like they liked me in the interview. Like they feel like I can do this. Like I was still kind of in that mode of, I don't believe this is something necessarily I could do. And I wasn't sure if it was, you know, even possible for me. But suddenly, you know, because of the way that interview went, I was like, maybe this does seem like something I could do. And I was wrong about myself, which I totally was. And I at this point, I'm very confident that I could do some good things in this position. But anyway, second interview comes around. It goes very well. All the people that I'm talking with that are interviewing me are just terrific, fantastic people. I cannot wait to work alongside some of them, a couple of which were people that I attended the peer support class with, and were some of my favorite people there. And it's just gonna be awesome to work closely with them doing this type of meaningful work. And second interview went really well too, and I got the job. So I went from seeing this position that I thought I could never get, and I was like, there's no way I'll qualify for that, but you know, neat to know that that's out there. Give me something to strive for, to being open with my feelings of thinking I'm not going to be able to make it, receiving encouragement from people, and then taking a shot, and then there I am. Now I've got this role. And that to me is incredible. And I wanted to share that story with you guys because, like I said, I did not think that this would be something that I could accomplish and get into because I didn't feel like I had the right credentials or the right experience. But it was more than one person who made it very clear to me that I was wrong about that assessment. And I feel like it's going to be a life-changing thing for me, and for a lot of other people too, hopefully, depending on what I can do in this role. And so I want any of you out there who feel like you know, there's something that you want to do, that you have a dream for, that you feel like you could do, or that you feel like you want to do, but maybe you don't have the capability of it because you sell yourself short in one way or another. Maybe you don't think that you're qualified. Maybe you don't think that you're talented enough, or maybe you don't think you have the right skills yet. I want to encourage you guys to pull that trigger and take that shot. Go for it. The worst thing that can happen is they tell you no. The worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work out in that moment. There is also a very real possibility that it can work and that it will work. You deserve and owe it to yourselves to put yourselves out there and take that chance. Because if you don't take that chance for yourself, no one else is going to take it for you. You know, there's something that I learned in the peer support class from someone else there. They said, don't tell yourself no before you give someone else the chance to. I think that's very important. And there's a lot of things that you can have and opportunities that you can, I guess, take in life when you follow that. And I've been learning that firsthand over the last couple years. So I want to pass that on to you. Don't tell yourselves no before you give someone else the chance to. And I'd like to add on to that. Even if they tell you no, that doesn't mean you can't do it. You just might have to do it a different way. Believe in yourselves, all right? And when you don't, believe in the me that believes in you, because you guys are capable of great things. Anyway, long story short, I got a new job. I'm going to be doing something to help youth and young adults and make changes in the mental health care system so that youth and young adults have a stronger voice and more opportunities to get the care that they deserve. And I'm super excited to have that opportunity to make that change. And the reason why it was stream related is because so much of the experience that I shared that the people who interviewed me, felt was meaningful from what I gather, came from my experiences right here with all of you. I have learned so much since getting to know you guys, and I have experienced so many different things vicariously through your individual stories that you have been open with here, not just on stream, but in Discord. Whether you were just sharing your troubles with me and I was providing support, or whether you were supportive of me, or whether I was watching you guys support each other. I learned so much over this last, 8 years? 2014 is when this channel started. So in that, I guess that's 7 years. But still, in that time, through doing this, I learned a lot about what makes me qualified to do this type of work now, which means that I couldn't have been here without you guys. And I think that's incredible. I've said this about the peer support work that I've been doing over the last year too, and it's no less true about that either. What happens here matters, and it always has. And I'm so grateful for all of you. I am so thankful that you guys have come in here and just been real and have opened yourselves up to be vulnerable and let us get to know you, because that has left an outstanding impact on my life. And it has given me so many opportunities. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional, but I'm just so thankful. I don't know if you guys realize how amazing you really are just by living your lives and connecting with each other here, or anywhere. But I'm so happy to have been able to keep doing this with you guys over the years. Anyway, that's my story. I just wanted to share that with y'all and let you know that I'm very excited for what's to come. As far as the stream's concerned, I will be coming back in a larger capacity. I plan to stream more frequently, but less for less amounts of time. Does that make sense? My goal right now is to get back to 3 times a week. That might mean that I'm not streaming for, 3+ hours at a time, and I'm streaming for maybe 2 to 3 hours instead. But I would like to have more opportunities to be here with everybody and to get to do this together. So that's my current goal. That's what we're working towards. And more goals will come down the road. So I'll let you know as they come up and how you guys can play a role in us succeeding in those. But for now, I just want to thank you all for everything you've done so far. And I want you to know that even though this might just be a Twitch stream to some of you guys, I think a lot of you realize that it's much more than that. It's a place of human connection and exploration and growth. And it wouldn't be without you guys. So give yourselves a pat on the back. And as always, keep your heads up and your hearts strong. All right, my friends. I have been making Jin wait long enough. It's dinner time. I'm going to get going. So I will be posting on Twitter next time that I'm live. I'll be posting in Discord the next time that I'm live. I am getting better. So my sickness is not going to really be playing a factor for much longer in what I do going forward. So yeah, just look forward to more streams because they're coming. We're back, baby. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to Fence TV. Thank you for sharing your story and being part of ours. If you're going through a tough time and you need some extra support, please join us on Discord. We'd be happy to talk with you there in the peer-to-peer channel when we're not live here on the stream. And if you haven't already, go ahead and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram so that you can keep up to date for when we're going live. And I also like to share, positive stories, gaming-related things, motivational things, musical things. Lots of things, really. So you can still stay connected even when we're not live here. But yeah, so there is something that we're going to be doing. Oh, thank you for the reminder on the Final Fantasy 15 crossover. We're going to do a raid before we bounce out of here. All right. So let's see who is live right now that we're going to go give some business to. Oh, man. We were talking about RP earlier. There's a streamer, a lovely little streamer that I know of by the name of Storm the Bard, who does a lot of RP streams, and they are very fun to watch. And he's got an interesting crew that he games with. So we're going to go say hi to them. So I've got a little raid call here for you guys. I'll post it in the chat. And you guys can either copy pasta the raid call and send it over in their chat whenever we switch over, or you can say something creative of your own. Whatever works for you. All right. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. I'll let you know on Twitter and Discord whenever I'm going to be live next. And I look forward to seeing you guys again the next time that we're here. Until then, keep your heads up and your hearts strong. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I'll see you next time. You take care, everybody. Have a great night.
May your heart be your guiding key.